Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, man, look, it's Andre's lost a lot of weight and all of his hair. No,
I was going to say a lot of hair as well, sorry.
Yeah, it's not Chaz and Dave, it's Ash and Dave, Phil Dave. So it's us doing the show tonight, so it's your chance. This is the first time we've ever been. We look like the, do you remember David Owen and David Steele? There was the smaller puppet and the large puppet.
Well, I was going to say, I thought we'd go to the same hairdresser.
Yeah, let me put my chair down.
Yeah, well, it's not. I think it's
that's better now.
There you go.
Yeah, but I should look. It should reflect the actual heights. But yeah, where's our Christmas trees, man?
Christmas trees have gone.
Anyway, we've got a full-on show. We're talking about the misogyny. It's a psyops, isn't it? Look at that and take your eye off the ball on what the real problem is in the country. After that documentary, we're going to speak to Claire Muldoon about that. It's Christmas Day. Let's keep it all light. BBC banned Fairy Tale of New York in Race to Christmas #1. And they also banned that Cold Outside, didn't they? But then they brought it, but I don't know. Do you know about Christmas songs?
The truth is, I was going to say, I mean, like, fancy putting two Jews on to talk about Christmas songs. Mind you, actually, Urban Berlin is quite
By the way, 03444991000 if you want to call us. Yeah. All the best. Yeah, a lot of White Christmas was Irving Berlin, wasn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Anyway, carry on, Dave.
I know. Thank
Phil
you.
Dave.
Yeah, Phil Dave. Dave, what? No, I was going to say that in terms of sort of actually the cancellation of the Christmas songs, I just find it absolutely extraordinary that anyone can even find Christmas songs remotely offensive. It's just absolutely bizarre. Yeah.
By the way, Andre, the reason he's not on, he's vomiting in his driveway. That's no excuse. That's a daily... That's a daily occurrence for him anyway.
Well, if you're having a late dinner, I hope you're enjoying it.
Well, he was, but he'll have to have another one now. Because anyway, we teach us to be trained to spot early signs of misogyny in boys. A range of measures are being unveiled as part of the government's long-awaited strategy to halve violence against women and girls. You know, they blame that Andrew Tate. I mean, anyway,
there are an alarming number of school pupils when they're surveyed who actually do support the views of Andrew Tate or seem to like what he says.
Well,
that is quite disturbing.
It is bad, but he does actually, he's, in some ways people say he's a good thing to a certain extent in standing up for their rights, but obviously there's terrible things that's going on there. Anyway, let's speak to Claire Muldoon, who knows more about it than us. So what's going on, Claire, and how are you?
Well, I'm very well, thanks, Ash, and hi, Phil. You know, I think I don't know much about being a misogynist, not being one myself.
No.
However, I think it's really, really important to establish the facts here. The facts are Scotland and Wales have devolved powers for their education systems. Starmer now is talking only about England here. He's chucking £20 million at this. 16 million is taxpayers' money. 4 million is donations raised by donors, contributions, etc., etc. And he's expecting schools to pick up the training for this. And I think there is lots to unpack here. I think young lads are completely and utterly marginalised.
You've got how old's your lad? How old's your lad?
He's 21 and he's the youngest of my 4 children. He's got 3 older sisters and quite a domineering, authoritative mother.
And but he's been through that system in Scotland, and how's it affected? How's he been taught?
He's not. He lives in London. He's here. He's at Newcastle now.
That would be a long way to go then in Scotland.
Well, exactly. So I'm being, for your Scottish viewers and your Welsh viewers, they won't be affected by this. But there's a lot to unpack here. Firstly, Why is the rise in misogyny and why is the rise in sexual assaults against women on the increase?
But Claire,
and I would say,
I was just going to say, where do you think that sort of the rise in misogyny versus the more awareness of it? Because
I think we know where it's coming from.
No, but I know. But if you think sort of more like 2 years ago, where I'm not suggesting for a second misogynistic behaviour was ever acceptable, I find it abhorrent. But just if you think sort of years ago, back to say like the 80s and possibly even into the 90s, that was almost like sort of given that some people would sort of do the whole the jovial sort of behaviour that was that, oh, we're just having a laugh, and of course it wasn't. It was really anti-women. It was horrible.
Well, you know, there is that school of thought, Phil, but there's also, back in the 80s, there wasn't any form of social media. There wasn't any whipping up of a perfect storm of coming together to actually victimise boys as well as the victims themselves being the girls. Now, there's a two-way street here. There's the uprise and the uptake and watching of porn, which I think has got a lot of issues, not only with the fact that it shows very violent porn in some respects, and boys as young as 11, 10 are witnessing it, are looking at it, are watching it and thinking that that is, one, what they should be behaving like, especially with regards to violent porn, and two, that's what women actually want. Now, it goes back to the home. Where are the father figures? What is being discussed at the table? Has the child got the ability to run off steam, play sport, etc.? Because boys have got a lot of hormones, especially prepubescent boys, and then moving into puberty. Where do we draw the line here? What is misogyny and what isn't?
And what is...
One minute they're saying, you cannot treat women like this, you cannot do this, you cannot do that, you're awful. And the next minute, Putin is saying, Westerners, get ready for war. Who's going to be fodder? It's going to be young lads. So you're okay to do that, but you're not okay to talk to women, to look at women, to ask girls out for a date. And it's cyclical. And it's women that are being affected
like
by this
women
as well.
get the plum jobs in corporations now. White young guys are. You have to be really good to get the job, and it's turning out women aren't finding men that they want to marry because they want to marry someone their equivalent or higher, and they're finding it difficult when they get on a bit, and they've done well in their careers because they've been maybe over promoted. And
I think that's quite a misogynistic statement to make, actually, Ash. And I would actually urge you to stop there. I think that's wrong.
No, but they do. You know, I know at some broadcasting organisations at the BBC, they've said, no, you can't have the job, Andre. But do you know anyone, a woman that can do it? You know, that literally happens.
What's that got to do with 11-year-old boys getting training from Starmer and Starmer's ilk and rolling it out in the schools? That's got nothing to do with that. I would like to think that people get jobs on their own ability. That's why
that's what it should be. We know it's not that. We know it's not a meritocracy. That's what it should be.
But the thing that I worried about personally is that when I first heard about this story earlier, I thought to myself, I wonder what kind of detrimental effect this will actually have on young men in years to come. Because don't get me wrong, of course, I'm well aware that sort of there are many sort of problems facing the world at the moment, and there are all sorts of sort of mental health challenges facing our young people as well. But I worry about sort of now that you're adding this to boys as well, almost like that added element of pressure, what's it going to do to them? Because, of course, they're not going to necessarily understand the difference between what's hormonal and actually what's inappropriate behaviour.
They're not, and that's why I think this whole thing is an absolute nonsense. I really, really do. I would far rather bring up young boys to respect not only themselves, because from self-respect comes respect for all, but with kindness, with chivalry, and bring up the difference between men and women, for goodness sake. We are completely different beings. We can't be one or the other because we are one.
You know, Claire, you speak about chivalry. Genuinely, this happened to me the other day. Yeah. I was on a train, and because of the way that I had been brought up, I got up to offer my seat to a lady, and genuinely the words were, "Are you ready for this? Is it because I'm a woman?"
You should have said yes.
I said yes, but that's the way I've been brought up to behave. It's not because I'm doing it to be rude.
Well, don't stop it, Phil. Don't stop it. You know, word to the wise here. Don't stop it.
Well, I mean, obviously you've got a son and you've got daughters, but sort of like, from your perspective as a parent, what did you think it was easier to bring up either your daughters or your son? Like, I suppose I'm asking what's easier to bring up, daughters or sons?
They're not. They're both the same. They are both equally as difficult. And I think that's why as well, people need to have children when they can, when they're younger, because you need to be physically fit when they're younger to run after them. But now when they're reaching the ages, my eldest is 28 and I've got 26, 23 and my youngest is 21. When they're that age, you need to be emotionally strong to deal with the fallout of relationships. And what I'm finding is that it's very difficult for them to find relationships because the boys are too timid to approach girls, and girls actually want the boys to approach them, want them to ask for their numbers, want them to be chivalrous, to be kind and to ask them out. And it's just not the way of the world.
Yeah, but isn't it the fact that, you know, the people your son's age are thinking, well, I'm never going to be able to afford a house in London. I'm not going to be able to raise a family. I've just got to live my life. It's not working. I mean, we're seeing the brain drain. You know, loads of young kids are leaving the country. All our brightest and the best are leaving, and we're bringing in people from other parts of the world where they're not, you know, have the a great education systems. We're losing. I mean, are your children thinking of leaving? Do they still have to live at home? I would have thought they do.
I've got two living at home, one still at university and one that went to university over in Belfast and lives over in Belfast because she got a job over there and has bought a house over there. But also culturally, I think we will see a shift from predominantly Muslim families, Muslim boys, Muslim young men who see the role of women very differently from your archetypal working class, middle class white boy in this country. And that's the cultural shift as well, that we'll have to have the overreach. We'll have to have the overreach. And we cannot not talk about the differences in races and differences in religions and differences in cultures. And that has to be addressed more, I would say, than the misogyny lessons that will be rolled out, which I think is just a piece of nonsense. And I also feel sorry for the teachers who have to take this on.
Do you think it's a diversion for that exact reason? Do you think they were diverting us away from more major problems with this?
No. I think this is a knee-jerk reaction because when the drama Adolescence came out on Channel 4 or Netflix, I can't remember which, was Stephen Graham.
Yeah, Netflix,
and Starmer said there, we need to roll this out across the country.
He called it a documentary a couple of times, didn't he?
Well, it wasn't. It was an absolute piece of fiction.
Yeah.
It really was, because that young boy didn't tick any of the boxes that you're talking about, Ash.
Yeah.
He presented from a very stable, loving family, and yet he was violent enough to stab and murder a girl who was at school with him.
I actually worry about...
They did that to demonise white boys, didn't they?
But I was going to say, I worry about genuinely sort of what this is going to do for the population of this country for the future, because if you think about the bigger picture here, I always think bigger picture, I'm a bit dramatic like that, but I can't help but worry that if you've got a situation where young boys are being taught that their natural feelings, sometimes, don't get me wrong, I appreciate that some boys are not behaving naturally, they behave abhorrently, I get that, so please don't complain about that. But let's just say that what might be natural feelings towards girls is somehow treated as something to be demonised and not good. It's going to drive this wedge and actually ultimately, possibly long-term, affect future population.
Do you know, I know of a case where a young boy who was 16 was accused of raping the girl that he was with. He was immediately suspended and removed from his school. The girl was able to return to school. The boy had a brother at school, and that case took 4 years to get to court. The boy is now 20, and he was found not guilty, and that was 4 years of his life, 4 years of his family's life, and 4 years of the girl who took that.
But 4 very important years of his life.
Well, they were traumatising for life, though, weren't it?
Absolutely. And after that was apparently one consensual act and one non-consensual act.
But of course, there's a very, I suppose, a very fine line here, because at the same time, all of this talk, we shouldn't sound like we're encouraging those who genuinely do experience misogynistic behaviour.
Do you know what, Phil? I think that the parents need to take a rule here as well. And in my house, regardless of their age, regardless of their of who they're with, none of them are allowed to sleep in the same bedroom or the same bed as a girlfriend or boyfriend that they brought home. And I think that is the way to go, because what it gives those kids is it gives them freedom. It gives them freedom not to feel abridged, not to feel pressured, not to feel anything. And I think it is my house, my rules. So that in that case, that's fine. But I just wish more parents would take that view. And I wish more parents would actually protect their children instead of it being something that they think, oh, that's a bit fuddy-duddy, or you're too old-fashioned, and that is different. It's different times now.
Well,
it's
that's the thing, you know.
Different times.
I know people like of my mother's era and of that era. You know, they'd say, "Well, we wouldn't do all that. Be the victim. We'd kick the bloke in the balls, and this is what sorted it out." Has something changed in that dynamic in you know how women or men react?
Well, I think I don't know, because thankfully I've never been in that position, and I would hate to think that any of the girls haven't told me that has happened to them, because I don't think it has. And if it had, then I'd be the one that'd be punching his bloody lights out, excuse my French.
Yeah.
But it's really important to value every single person, and not take and not blame the victim, not victim blaming. But also, I think there's victims here on two sides. It is the boy and the girl. And I think if more of them actually lived a life of abstinence, it would be better. If we'd shut down social media, like Australia are doing for under 16-year-olds, if parents were to take a more active role in what their children were doing, and if the parents were to bring the children up, building characters with virtues, then society would be a much healthier and much happier place to exist.
Claire, it's very hard to argue with everything you've said there, so thank you so much. But 0344...
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to argue with. You only have to be on for 3 minutes. What's the time now?
We've been on 25 minutes. We're on about half an hour.
20 minutes already.
No, it was brilliant. Thanks, Claire.
Thank you, Claire.
Anyway, give us your ring, 0344 499 1000. Now, we're going to talk about the BBC Fairy Tale of New York with Alex Dyke, who I think is coming in. And basically, they've refused to play the live version. Let's have a look. They won't play a new live version of Fairy Tale of New York on its radio stations. The first live version of the song been released, better call. Well, we all know what they say on it. They say the meatball, the faggot word, which means a meatball, but obviously they meant it in another phrase. But anyway, give us a ring about everything the BBC, misogyny, misandry, what you think of Dave. Dave's good. Ash and Dave, the new Chaz and Dave. 0344 499 1000. You can send us a voice note on that. Anyway, it's Talk, the conversation of the nation.
across the UK. On DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Two bulging sacks of mail here. By the way, hi guys. The F word in Fairy Tale of New York was changed and the original is no longer played. I love the original and still sing it the way it should be, Alison. Good on you, Phil, for offering your seat on the train. I hope my son would do too. Bit sexist though. Manners maketh man. Long live chivalry. We love it. Lucy, some of them
thank
don't
you,
love
Lucy.
it.
Well, Alison, going back to your message, let me be very clear about you. Earlier on Virgin Radio, it's very simple. Absolutely heard the full, original, unedited version going out on our sister station, Virgin Radio, before, and I'm fairly sure on Virgin Radio Christmas as well, you'll be able to hear it. So don't worry, not every single station is a killjoy. So
People saying you're like a young version of James Wales, which is great, isn't it?
Well, that's one of the greatest compliments anyone could ever pay me, so thank you.
By the way, again, from tomorrow night, we'll be on from 10. If Andre's back, if he's still in his drive being sick, he won't be. Yeah, so 11 every Friday, we play a lovely clip of James Wales, so we'll be doing that again tomorrow. Any teasers on what it... he hasn't worked it out yet, but it'll be Christmassy. Anyway...
Rest assured, I have absolutely no intention, though, of telling you to stop talking, though, because, you know, I'm the guest here, so... Yeah.
Right, let's hear the song that the controversy is all about. Here we go. It's the audio only, so we'll do some.
Are you going to sing along?
Yeah. You were pretty.
Queen of New York City.
Hey.
Sinatra was swaying. All the drums they were playing.
The words.
Yeah. Oh no, I love this song. It's great, isn't it?
It's a real.
It's not a great song when I sing it, but it's
not
a great
a toe
song.
tapper, is it? It's a hair tingler and a chair swiveler.
Oh, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
I am very similar for Shane McGowan before he had his teeth job.
A hair tingler, I remember that.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk to the poor man's Mike Reed. It's Alex Dyke.
Oh,
Alex. No, that's a compliment. Mike Reed was a megastar. Even Alex would take that. So, Alex, you were a DJ. Well, I don't know if you were a DJ. You were a radio presenter. Yeah, of course you were, at the BBC. So, what is your view on this sort of thing? Because it's sailing to #1 now. Of course, when the BBC ban things, it hits the top of the hit parade.
Evening, Alex.
Good evening,
It's
Phil.
Dave. Phil Dave.
Dave.
Yeah.
I've got a little story for you about me banning the song on the BBC. So I'm not going to be popular with you guys, and I'm not going to be popular with your audience tonight. I'm sure.
Well, it's funny you say that because Mike Reed was the one who banned Frankie Goes to Hollywood. So the story continues.
Relax.
Yeah, so you can just relax
84.
about it.
Right, so here are the... I've made some notes for you. The song comes out Christmas '83. Everything's fine until Top of the Pops 1987, when Kirsty MacColl is asked to change one line in the song.
Yeah.
Then everything goes back to normal. Christmas 1992, she's asked to... Because, of course, the song's a reoccurring hit, most Christmases.
Yeah.
She's asked to change one line in the song in 1992. Then it all goes back to normal. 2007, Radio 1 edit out the word that begins with S and ends in T and the other F word, right?
Yeah.
Then there are complaints to the BBC, so Andy Parfitt, who's running Radio 1, reverses the ban.
Yeah.
Then in 2020, Radio 1 have a clean version of it. But Radio 2 are playing the original, and BBC Six Music are playing the original. So the BBC have no policy on this. Then we get to 2019. This is where I come in. So I'm doing my afternoon show on the BBC in the South. I've never been a fan of the song. I much prefer the kind of Hollywood Christmas with Andy Williams. I play the song.
What about
on
Wizard and Slade? Do you like the British?
Oh, I love Wizard and Slade.
Yeah.
And John Lennon's Happy
But you don't
Christmas.
like the Pogues one.
What about Chris Rea driving home for Christmas? That's a good one.
Ian Collins' favourite.
Yeah, I don't mind Chris Rea. I just don't like the Pogues one. To me, it sounds like a drunken brawl. Personally, I don't like it.
But that's
So I
the
go on-
point. That's the whole
Apparently
point.
it wasn't a
It's
Christmas
fun.
song. It was just, I don't know, apparently. Just because it talks about Christmas in it. But, yeah, it was terrible. I remember when Kirsty MacColl, about 25 years ago, she was in Mexico and she fell off a boat and the boat came over and the propeller killed her.
Yeah, it was awful. Absolutely.
Anyway, go back to the story. So you're sitting there
so
and you...
I'm on the radio.
Yeah.
I play it, and I think we're playing the original version. I think I don't like kids on the school run in the afternoon. I was doing an afternoon show. hearing the F word, the other F word, and the S word in it. I think it's not very nice for kids to hear on the back seat of the car. So I go on the radio. This just shows you how crazy the BBC are. I go on the radio and say, look, I'm not playing it anymore. I just don't think it fits my show, and we can do better than that, and here's Andy Williams. Now, I've already been suspended by the BBC a couple of occasions. My boss comes in about 20 minutes later. What did you say? I said, don't worry, I've taken the moral high ground. I can't be in trouble for this. I'm saving young kids from listening to this on the school run. So then the BBC press office get involved, and they decide to take me off air while they're thinking about what to do about it. In the meantime, it's gone mental on Twitter. Half the people agree with me, half the people disagree. People are suggesting I get beheaded by ISIS for banning.
Sake.
Yeah.
That's not a BBC policy now, is it?
I promise you this is true. So anyway, after about 2 or 3 days, the BBC let me go back on air, and I go in and I see my boss, and this is where it gets crazy, and you're going to think I've made this up, but I haven't, guys. And I go back in and I say to my boss, look, I'll play the record. You know, if I don't want to cause a fuss, I've had my say, we've had loads of texts and emails, we've got loads of traction on this on the internet, I'll play the record. And then my boss said to me, no, you're not allowed to play the record. I said, what? You're banning me from playing the record that I ban? And they said, yes, it might come up in the show before you, and it might come up in the show after you, but you are banned from playing the record.
What, so you could keep your integrity?
Well, just because
I don't think they put his integrity above everything, do you?
Why did they do that, though?
Because it's such a hot potato for the BBC. So that's Christmas 2019. So I take the moral high ground and get a right rollicking from the BBC, and then it goes into the Gavin and Stacey Christmas special about 4 weeks later, and the BBC get an avalanche of complaints. So I'm thinking someone's going to come to me and say, well, maybe, Alex, you were right. But they never did, and now I don't work for the BBC.
Right, no, I'm confused. Start from the beginning again. So in 19...
No, the show finishes at 1 a.m.
No, you're right. No, well, amazing. And what is your view now? You wouldn't play it, or you would play it?
Well,
I mean, it's 25 years to the day that Kirsty MacColl died, and it's a
I was a big fan of Kirsty MacColl. I saw her live a couple of times. I personally don't like the song. It's not one of my Christmas favourites, but I respect it's always in the top 100 Christmas records.
I was going to say, but Alex,
5.
do you understand why it's popular? Because, I mean, I kind of get it. It's certainly not language I would use every day, but
It's not your normal Christmas song, it's a proper song,
get it. It's there's something raw, there's something real about it.
Well, the two of them together work well with their, you know, I mean, he wasn't even Irish. Apparently they don't really like him, the Irish. He went to Westminster, a private school, he got a scholarship, and he put on this act like the drunken Irishman. They didn't like him in Ireland doing all that, but it had that lovely sound, didn't it? I've been doing that for years. It never done me any harm. But yeah, it was a wonderful combination.
By the way, there's a text message coming here from Jack that says, maybe define things before talking about it. More uneducated ramblings. Well, I tell you what, Jack, the Fairy Tale of New York is a Christmas song that's caused great controversy, and as a result of it, the BBC are talking about banning it. There you go, you're no longer uneducated, you've learnt something.
What
Stephen. Well
about
done.
It's Cold Outside? Because, you know, there was suggestion that that was...
Eartha Kitt or whatever. No, Eartha Kitt.
No, wasn't it? Well,
Kitt.
Tom Jones did it with What's Keris Matthews, apparently it's a bit like he wants her to stay in so he can have his way, and that's all terrible, you know. Do you know what I mean? They banned that. I think they've reversed it, or what's your views on that sort of thing?
The trouble for the BBC is they're damned if they do, they're damned if they don't. And that song is an innocent love song. It was big for Dean Martin, Baby It's Cold Outside.
Dean Martin.
It's snowing. I don't want to go home. I want to cuddle you all night long.
Is this the song you're singing, or are you just...
I'm not talking
Are you saying this to Ash?
No, I'm just saying that's what that is the idea behind the song. Maybe I can stay here and hold you all night long. It's Christmas, it's romantic, but some mean-spirited people want to make it into something misogynistic, and I think people should be very careful when they use that word, because if you look it up, it's the hatred of women, and most of the things we look back at the 60s and 70s for and say they're misogynistic, they may not be right in today's for the way we live our lives today, but they are not misogynistic. They're not to do with the hatred of women, so that word is very, very overused. What
about the Trump suing the Beeb for $10 billion? It's a good thing, isn't it?
Well, I was listening to talk in the car the other day, and I heard all sorts of people getting cross about it. I think Trump should sue the BBC. I mean, they can't afford to pay 10 billion. They've only got about, I think, 300.
How much do they get a year in licence fees?
Well, they've got in cash reserves, the BBC have got 377 million pounds.
Oh, it's not enough.
So they can't afford $500 million. And they're not going to be sued for 10 billion. But
well, that's what he's suing them for.
Yeah, I know, but we all know it's
no, but even if it's a tenth of that, is what you're saying, they won't have enough money.
They won't have enough money, but you can't manipulate the news like that, particularly if you're the BBC. All they had to do was put up a flashpoint in that clip to show, you know, there was something edited out of it. They didn't do it, and they just cannot get away with doing this. It's
but they keep doing it. They just keep lying. It's not an accident like they keep pretending, because it's like 2 or 3 times a week they're doing massive lies. We know what's going on there. So, and they're saying we didn't do anything wrong. It's just our director general has to go and our chair. You know, it's ridiculous.
And they keep doing this. They keep having scapegoats and trying to make out as if they've learnt their lessons. They haven't learned their lessons at all. Yeah. Because I tell you for nothing, when I worked at the BBC, and I worked there 10 years, I saw.
What were you doing there, man? I didn't know about this.
I'll refer to that during the way. I was not HR.
The cabin boy. Was there a cabin boy? No. Anyway, look.
It was in production. My point being is that for 10 years that I was there, I absolutely saw the rapid decline over that decade, and believe me, it was most deliberate.
It was your fault.
Many
so it was when you were there.
Absolutely not my fault. Thank you very much indeed.
Just
Alex Dyke, former BBC presenter, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Breaky.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Right, yeah, it's me and Phil Dave today because Andre's sick as a dog.
Get well soon, Andre.
Yeah, get
there's
well
a
soon,
message
man.
comes through from Ernie. Have you seen this? It says,
Go on.
hi, Ash and Phil. You're talking about the BBC. Did you know you'll never hear the word Christmas on the BBC? Sports Personality of the Year tonight was ended by the words, have a very happy festive season. That's great. I assume it's not to offend anyone who isn't Christian, but I'm a Christian in a Christian country, and I was offended, but that doesn't matter, does it? He also goes on to say that our own people are trying to cancel Christianity in Britain. Why? Ernie, you raise a very valid point, and let me tell you, someone who is Jewish, I'm deeply offended by anyone who doesn't have the guts to say Merry Christmas. So I'll say it, Ernie, have a very Merry Christmas, and I love Christmas.
I mean, Jesus...
Merry Christmas!
Jesus was Jewish. I think Father Christmas is Jewish, isn't he? He looks Jewish. Anyway, yeah.
You look a bit like Jesus, actually, the head.
Yeah, and Father Christmas. I'm like a fat Jesus, yeah. Because obviously we've got more access to food, and you're a young James Wales.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's like through the looking glass. Anyway,
Both great leaders.
we are, aren't we? Yeah. Anyway, we're going back to misogyny because anyway, 03444991000. We've got a few calls, but Delroy, Danielle, Roy, Cindy, Georgina, and Heather. But children as young as 11 who demonstrate misogynistic behaviour will be taught the difference between pornography and real relationships as part of a multi-million-pound investment to tackle misogyny in England schools. Well, a real relationship isn't on a screen. I mean, that's the lesson, isn't it? On the eve of the government publishing its long-awaited strategy to halve violence against women and girls, VAWG, V-A-W-G, in a decade, Dave Lammy told The Guardian the battle begins with how we raise our boys, adding that toxic masculinity and keeping girls and women safe were bound together. Anyway, we're going to be joined by a teacher now, Finn Adams, friend to the show. He's a psychology teacher. They teach psychology at schools now, and I wonder it's all
I think
messed
I've
up.
got a lot to learn from you, Finn. Good evening and welcome.
Hello,
Evening.
good evening and welcome.
How you
So,
doing?
all right, man. Have you been looking? Well, obviously this is your job. What do you think of this whole situation? Is this just trying to divert attention away from us? Is it a psyops? You're a psychologist. Are they trying to divert our minds away to somewhere where it needs to be more?
Well, it doesn't surprise me, to be honest, because then a couple of years ago it was brushing your teeth. So teach kids to brush their teeth. It's just
That's
a
right.
new fad, as I see
Like
it.
breakfast at school. Make your kids get cornflake, Cocoa Pops. How much does that cost?
Well, exactly. And it's one of these things where it's something to just distract from other things.
I
That's
think
how
so.
I see it on the ground.
But do you think it's fair to describe it as a fad to those who genuinely are and I don't like the word victim because it really conjures all sorts of image, but let's just say those who have experienced misogynistic behaviour. Do you think it's fair to describe this as a fad?
I think it's the experience of it is very different to what the government plans to do about it. So what the government plans to do about it is the fad. I think the experience definitely isn't. I think the fad is this idea that you can then coach a specific demographic, age 11 rather, and somehow fix the problem. I think the problem's more systemic than just what can be done in schools. What I see on the ground as a teacher is we're with the kids 5 hours a day, 6 hours a day maximum. We're barely scratching the sides in terms of what could be done.
And what do you
that's
think
a
about
wider issue.
this adolescence thing that he said they're going to show in all schools? Are they showing it in your schools? And what's your view on that? Because apparently it is a very rare event that this happens, this story that Starmer called a documentary. What did you think of that? And why are they showing it in all the schools?
Well, do you know what? The first thing that came into my head when I saw this policy was that's been inspired by the hit show. So what do I think about it? I think it's been watched a lot. I think a lot of people are talking about it, a lot of teachers in the staff room. I think when it first went out, that was all people were talking about in the staff room and students picking it up as well. So, yeah, it has had an impact in terms of what's being discussed in schools.
But is it fake? It wasn't a real thing. You're a school teacher. Does this sort of thing go on in your school?
I think not quite in the way that it was portrayed. I think there is misogyny that's taking place across so many different institutions. It's not just on the school level. I think it does happen. We can't deny experience.
But that's just boys and girls, isn't it? I mean, isn't that just normal sort of silly behaviour?
Have you actually sort of seen yourself, Finn, any sign of misogynistic behaviour by any of your pupils? Have you felt compelled enough to sort of think that the government needs to do more to tackle it? Are you worried?
I think I have, as a teacher, seen some of those things, and that can be tackled on some level in a classroom, but it's naive to think that this training program, if it even happens, if there isn't a general election before then, for it to take place and for it to just try and fix the problem. I think it's a wider problem. It's to do with what students are seeing online. I don't want to drop the name, but Andrew Tate, there's just many different people out there that could be considered to be misogynist and could be considered to be having an influence on that generation that's far greater than what's being proposed as what teachers can do to fix the problem. It's almost like there's a sinking ship. Let's just get a bucket and tip out the water. Well, the bucket ain't going to fix the ship.
Isn't there also another problem that's not mentioned where other cultures will view women from other cultures as fair game? And that's what this is all about. Taking your eye off that ball.
That's an interesting point, and the degree of immigration that we see in London, whether that view then means that other cultural perspectives are coming in. Yeah, that's possible.
Well, they said the grooming gangs or the rape gangs inquiry, yeah, we're going to look into all types of misogyny. Well, no, that wasn't what we wanted to look at, so they're already trying it in other areas, aren't they?
It seems like they don't really know. They just like it's you know, it's a great idea to say let's target misogyny and let's stamp it out. Well, of course, let's stamp it out, but it's just how are you going to do that? And I think when I saw this headline today, which I think had been leaked, hadn't it? They've been considering it for a couple of weeks anyway, or months. That was the first thing that came into my head is, yeah, let's just distract from misery that exists.
Well, we were speaking earlier to Claire Muldoon, and she mentioned about social media and the impact of that, and like whether or not sort of banning social media for under 16s might have something to do with fixing the problem. What are your views on social media, and how much do you think social media is to blame? You mentioned Andrew Tate before. Of course, he's got a massive following on social media. How much do you think social media is to blame? Yeah,
I think outside a school site, social media is probably responsible for a lot of things. We ban phones in our school, so it means that the students hand in the phone the day the moment they walk in, give it back at the end of the school day. So
then they got full access in the evening.
Oh, well, exactly. So that's the point. You know, what's going on in the evening is something we can't control. And I think that, yeah, from what we're seeing on social media and what people are reporting, I think there is a lot that could be done to tackle that for that younger generation. I mean, it's interesting what they're doing in Australia just now, isn't it? And
but the kids will work their way around it. I mean, what do young kids...
There's always a workaround.
What do young lads and girls, how do they see their future in this country? Because obviously, you know, they're thinking, well, how can I raise a family? I can't buy a house. I won't be able to get you know, if you're a white young guy at school, you think, well, I'm not going to get a good job. And how you see them on a daily basis? What's your view on how they consider their futures?
Yeah, I think there is a lot of apathy, and we thought as teachers, well, it's down to COVID. It's the impact of COVID, and they've not had that socialization experience, so they've just needed to just change their mindset, and it's taken them a while. But what we found is, you know, we're 5 years post the COVID pandemic, and we're still seeing this kind of flatness amongst the students.
How does that manifest with no sort of future careers? They're not even thinking about what they want to do. They're just going through the motions.
It's just happy with, I don't know, with, and maybe it's just the comfort of knowing that this country, there's safety nets in place that there might not be in other countries. I don't know.
And to buy a house and everything, they sort of see it, you know, you've got to be very lucky to get a job where you'll be able to afford a family. You know, it's almost like winning a lottery to be able to do that now.
Well, that's the other thing. So it's almost like let's just withdraw from all that and just know that we can at least survive on kind of some base levels. Yeah, or benefits.
I don't want to ask you to predict the future here because, I mean, there's obviously, you know, no one's going to hold you to this. But at the same time, do you think that this is going to have some sort of... Because I mentioned this earlier, I'm worried about the long-term effects. I'm worried about the psychological damage that this could have on our young boys, young men, of the future of this country, that they're going to think they can't even so much as talk to women anymore.
Well, that's the thing. The balance can go in so many... I mean, at the moment, are we swaying too far that way to the point that it's just then going to swing back? Yeah. It's tricky, isn't it? Because the way it's going is we can get to a place where people think they can then police even people's thoughts. We're not quite there yet because we can't mind read, although...
Well, they have arrested people for praying in their head. outside
that about?
abortion clinics. Yeah, they've arrested people. They've said, "Are you praying in your head?" And the woman went, "Yes." All right, you're under arrest. So they are There are thought police now. I mean, that was one thing that J.D. Vance said, and this is unbelievable. This is what's going on here. You know, Starmer says he loves our history of free speech, and anyone says anything against it will be put in prison.
Well, he likes the free speech as long as we agree with what he says. That's the problem.
Yeah, so are you confident for the future, or you know, as someone who works with kids all the time, or do you think it's just going to get worse?
No, yeah, I think it's going to get worse. And to be honest, I'm thinking of leaving myself.
So where will you go? I mean, because we've got someone like you, Beanhead, who comes on quite a lot.
Oh yeah, I've seen him. He's pretty good actually.
He's great.
Yeah.
He's coming on tomorrow, actually. Beanhead. Yeah, he'll be on tomorrow. So if you leave the country, what country? Australia? I know, is that because you're a teacher and you get paid, or because you're a... Oh, what's happened, Beanhead?
Yeah, no, my light just went off. Back on now.
Put a pound, yeah, put the key card back in.
Yeah, exactly.
50 pence.
I forgot what I was saying.
Yeah.
Can you remind me?
If I leave, where do I go?
Where are you going, man?
You know, if I want to keep the day job, teachers are leaving in their droves and they're actually going to Dubai. That's the secret, because you can get a tax-free salary and half the workload. That's the honest truth. So if I want to maintain the job as a teacher, then maybe it's that. But then, you know, you go into an environment where you have a whole host of other views that if they were imported here wouldn't be acceptable.
What would you say? I'm not that I imagine that many school pupils would be listening at the moment, of course, because it's past their bedtime. But just supposing that there was some sort of like young lad listening to this who sort of is a bit worried that what they actually sort of perfectly valid feelings believe they could be mistaken for some sort of misogyny. What would you say to them, sort of how they should sort of work this and balance it and make sure that they're just decent citizens who are actually just going through prepubescent stage or actually puberty?
Yeah, I'd say stay off social media, because you don't know if you post something on social media, Monday morning it gets picked up and who knows what can happen.
Yeah.
And
it's there forever.
It's there forever, exactly. And this generation are in an age where everything they post can be screenshotted, and that's scary. So I'd say if they think they are worried or concerned, talk to someone you trust. And that at least opens the dialogue, and the fact that you trust them means there's better than just posting something on social media that could be picked up by Tom, Dick or Harry and taken very seriously and possibly get them in further trouble.
All right, well, thanks, Finn. That's Finn Adams. Also, I think he might be on tomorrow as Beanhead. We don't know. I think it might be it's like Superman and Clark Kent.
Well, does that technically mean that Finn's on tomorrow, or does it mean Beanhead? It might be a separate guest.
I don't know.
Really,
maybe Thin and Beanhead.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's going to be all your calls. 03444991000. Heather, Georgina, Cindy, Roy, Danielle and Delroy. It's talk. It's me and Phil. It's talk. And there's a good argument for the listening.
across the UK. On DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, man.
Hi, Ash.
All right, it's Ash and Dave, Phil Dave. He's in because Andre's being sick on his driveway. And the latest is he's still there on his driveway, he didn't go in.
Do we know if he's moved any nearer to the front door yet?
He's near the what are they called? The gnome, the garden gnome. He's trying to... He's still going. Currently vomiting. It's all over himself.
No,
anyway, thanks, Phil, and Merry Christmas to you and Ash, and enjoy Hanukkah, and I will enjoy Christmas, Ernie. We can enjoy Christmas as well. Don't worry about that.
No one does Christmas like the Jews. I love it.
Like the next man, yeah. What a load of BS. This is from Martin. The real problem is, he's saying people coming up in boats. I'm afraid the ignorance is no defence. Lockdown. Well, it's not just that. There's lots of people from not just the boat people. There's lots of people from lots of different cultures that view people, and there is, misogyny in our own. Anyway, we
have to take the word of Mark in Norfolk. He's messaged in as well. He's said, and obviously, Mark, we've only got your word, but thankfully, you don't mention any names of any individuals here. But you said that your wife used to teach an English speaking for other languages course, and she had to be replaced by a male tutor. The class was mostly made up of pupils from East Africa and also from Pakistan as well. He says that they had no respect for her at all. It was only when she was actually groped did she have to make a complaint and got moved to another class. These were 20-year-olds, not 11-year-olds. The government need to wake up and who they are importing.
And that's typical, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sexually assaulting her, and she has to move in the class.
Shocking.
Georgina in London.
Hi, Georgina.
Hello, Ash. Hello, Phil. Happy Hanukkah and also happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas as well.
Anyway, I rang up to talk about Christmas because I've got to be honest, Christmas is my favourite time of the year. I love putting up the decorations.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Yeah, there you go. We're talking about Christmas as well.
That's a cue for a song, Ash. It's a cue for a song.
Yeah, we can't afford the PRS though, so I'll just say it.
Yeah. Well, but
you do a better version.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, you'll have to sing a Christmas song before the end of the show. We don't interfere with other cultures' religious holidays, but it seems that other cultures that have been given the privilege and luxury to reside here have taken it upon themselves to take serious umbrage to our Christian religious holidays, especially Easter and Christmas. This is being made worse by the government, who are fueling the fire for the sake of appeasing foreign nationals who reside here to win votes for the next election.
But I have a theory about this, Georgina. You see, I can't help but think that they're being enabled to do this because they hear so many of our people in authority turning around and saying, we don't want to offend anyone, so therefore we've got to say seasonal greetings. We can't say Merry Christmas. No, you're mad. Of course you can say Merry Christmas.
Take a mile.
I want to say Merry Christmas.
Do you remember the King's Cross thing where they didn't really have? I think it was Easter. They didn't put a big Christmas message up, but every day they put like a Quran verse.
Yeah, I was going to say, but they didn't have any hesitation with putting up lights for Ramadan and stuff like that in London, did they?
Yeah, well, no, and Hanukkah, but yeah, Christmas seems to be the one that really gets it.
Yeah, but it's one rule for them all the time and one rule for us.
Two-tier winter celebrations, isn't it? I mean, you go into Tesco's or you go Morrison's and they just say a festive egg or a festive Christmas. They won't say Christmas. They won't say gingerbread man. It's gingerbread person,
isn't it? Yeah,
with a
gingerbread
penis
person.
Or cervix.
Anything so ridiculous in your life, honestly. And now the BBC have jumped on the bandwagon with all the wokey virtue signalling.
Well, they're driving the bandwagon.
That's not a shock, though, really, is it?
They drive the bandwagon.
It's not a shock. But, they're not using the phrase Happy Christmas, and now they're banning Christmas songs. I'm waiting for them to ban the phrase White Christmas, as some people may find that offensive or indeed racist. It's getting that silly now. I mean, I've gone away for Christmas for the last few years, and I'll tell you why. Because Christmas in England now is being stamped out. So I go, of all the places in the world, I go to Dubai. It's a Muslim country and they celebrate Christmas better than the English do.
Well, Georgina, I want it known for the record, OK? I don't know if you're watching Talk this evening, if you're just listening to us, but if you are watching on YouTube or any connected television... Yeah, there you go, we've got our hats. But also have a look at our Christmas tree behind us as well. We love it. We've got a massive Christmas tree. Every single show will have Christmas tree in it. We love Christmas here.
And this is why I watch your channel.
You put it there, didn't you?
I did put it there,
in the morning. Till I go to sleep. I go to sleep of an evening watching Talk TV.
Do you listen to Paul Ross while you're asleep? So it all programs your mind with Paul Ross.
Well, I
So she goes to sleep listening to
I
Talk.
don't
Did we
sleep
send her to
listening,
sleep?
But I only sleep about 2 or 3 hours a night.
Like Margaret Thatcher.
I don't. I don't need a lot of sleep. So you know, I just listen to you guys, or I watch PMQ.
Are you going to Dubai in the next couple of days then?
No, darling, I'm not. This is what I was going to tell you. This year, I wanted to stay home, and I thought that all my children were going to be here. But my daughter has just flown out to Dubai because she said, Mum, I'm going away because I really want to have a great Christmas. I mean, the Mall of the Emirates, you've never seen anything more Christmassy. There's trees everywhere and decorations.
But you're not going to get snow, are you?
Well, you can go to the ski dome in Dubai.
Oh yeah, so they can pay. What do they have on Christmas Day on the telly there? Morecambe and Wise, or I mean?
No, Fairy Tale of New York. They play the Popes, don't they?
They are that westernised there now.
Slade.
You can get whatever you want on television, and they make Christmas special, and that's what I was going to say. That's what we need here in Britain.
Well, you know what we need to do, Georgina? It's very simple. It's those of us who do love Christmas in this country and believe in it. We need to shout about it, we need to be proud about it, and we need to absolutely make Christmas great.
Well, we do need we need to make Hanukkah great as well in Britain, because that seems to have been lost, because we're frightened to celebrate.
Well, we never really did much Hanukkah. I mean, there's not much of a population, but we do our own bits and pieces.
Yeah, well, and we should do our own bits. And also, we need to celebrate Christmas. This is a Christian country after all, and we should be very proud of the traditions of Britain and enjoy the British traditions. You know, go to church. Enjoy the Christmas Eve, you know.
So are you on your own? Because we've only got about 30 seconds. Are you on your own this Christmas?
Well, no, I've got my sons will be coming over to see me, which is wonderful.
Do you do all the cooking then? They make you do all the cooking?
Listen, I'm no Delia Smith by any stretch of the imagination, but I do try to do the cooking, and I don't think, after all these years of doing bits and pieces with cooking, I don't think I'm too bad.
Well, I look forward to finding out, Georgina, when you call us another time on 0344 499 1000, exactly how that went down, what happened for Christmas, what got burnt, what didn't. Thank you very much for your call. Keep those calls coming in.
Yeah, and then next we're going to get the papers, tomorrow's papers today, you lucky people. Look, there's one of them, another one. We've got loads of them, so don't worry about that. And we'll also be talking to Pete Barnes. Pete Barnes, your calls and the papers after.
across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, it's Ash and Dave, not Chaz and Dave. Ash and Phil, Dave. Andre's nauseous.
He's not well.
He's still on his driveway. He can't get in the house in this state. But we're going to talk about the papers, your calls as well, coming up after the papers. But we've got Pete Barnes, political strategist, with us. Pete, are you there? Come in, Pete.
Hi guys, how's it going? Nice to see you.
I can hear you, like the voice has got. There you are.
Rest assured that you've made it a bit further in than your driveway. You're doing better than Andre is this evening, aren't you?
Yeah, man.
I feel like that's a very low bar, if I'm being honest, chaps.
Yeah, well, he's always on at the low bar. Right, we're going to go through the papers, Pete. The Daily Mail, and our friend of the show, Sophie Corcoran's got a column or something. The woman who's outraged millions by revealing her dream Christmas dinner is a Tesco chicken tikka masala for one. Outrageous. Well, that sounds like quite a nice dinner. What are you doing for Christmas?
I feel like outraged millions, though, is quite strong.
Why? I
isn't
mean,
it?
it's not really...
I don't really care.
Are you outraged?
Not really. I try not to be outraged anymore. I'm more exasperated more than anything. I'm not a Christmas guy, which surprises absolutely nobody, but I'm heading back to my parents back north for a little bit.
Northern. What do Northerners do at Christmas? Is it like...
we usually grumble more.
You grumble a lot. And what do you have, the turkey and all the stuffing and all that? Or?
Yeah, we are, yeah. We're a pretty, traditional one. You know, turkey, stuffing, pigs
Do you have your traditional... You know how some people have, traditional vegetables that they decide to have at Christmas? Do you have any particular favourite vegetables?
He loves a good stuffing,
Do you enjoy
I
a
know
good
that.
stuffing?
Now. I like a big honey roasted parsnips.
Oh, sophisticated.
I know, yeah.
So you're bringing your London ways up north. When you go back up north, do they go, oh, Pete's come back up north and with his London ways he thinks he's so much better than us?
Oh, I didn't know you knew my dad.
Yeah, they do that, right? They do that. Anyway, this is a great story. Labour's running scared of voters. Keir Starmer was last night accused of running scared of voters as he paved the way to cancel elections. This is the work of a dictator. Cancel jury trials, cancel elections, lock up your political opponents. What's going on, Pete?
Anyone who disagrees with you on social media, they'll go in prison as well.
In prison. It's a tyranny now, isn't it?
Yeah. I can't really think of a government, in my lifetime anyway, that has had more impact in terms of changing the fundamental nature of the state than this one. If you think about it, we had changes to abortion, we've got assisted suicide, we've got juries gone, clamp down on freedom of speech, we've got list after list, item after item, the elections, all of it. Because even if they're not getting rid of the elections, what they're actually doing is they're changing the rules of them. I know they think no one's paying attention. They are fundamentally reshaping the nation without the mandate for it. None of this was in a manifesto. None of it was voted on. And yet they're ploughing ahead. And more infuriatingly, they're blaming, we've got to do the backlog. We've got to, somehow we've got to sacrifice our rights for the system, for bureaucracy.
And the 16-year-old votes and all that.
But I find it baffling that more people aren't outraged by this, I mean, I know there's only so much we can do until there's another election and all that. But
they lied in them.
But that's even the point, is that now that there's a potentially postponing the local elections, where is the outrage? Why
they lied
they
knew they were going to lie in the manifesto, and that is perfectly legal of them because they just worried about the law. So haven't we got to change the law? If you lie in your manifesto, like misleading the House, you have to resign. If you lie and don't do anything of your manifesto and it's shown to be that, shouldn't it be automatic general election again? Shouldn't it be contractual?
The thing is, you can't bind
Shouldn't it be a contract?
So the thing is, you can't bind a government. In other
but
words, you
make
can't
a
tie
law.
it
That
down
means you can make it a contractual thing.
But that's the problem, though. Is nobody saw COVID, nobody saw a war, there's lots of things that can happen. You can't bind a government's hands. It's one of the principles of parliamentary democracy. No government can bind its successor is bound by its predecessor, and that's transcribed through the manifestos. But what you can do is actually have a more rigorous questioning of politicians before they get into office. So when they're in opposition and they start running around promising tax cuts or all this stuff, you start demanding answers as to how they're going to do it. And we start actually putting pressure on the politicians. I think, look at the last general election. Starmer walked that general election because nobody bothered to ask her what change actually meant, because we were obsessed with the dumpster fire that were the Conservatives. You know, at some point, I think the media as a whole has to kind of hold its hands up and say, yeah, this one's on us, because they were so obsessed with the rise of reform, and rightly so to a degree. But we allowed a very dangerous government, in my opinion, to literally walk through the door of 10 Downing Street, and now look at us. And
well, now they're trying to scupper democracy. I mean, you saw Miliband, he scuppers any future of fracking by pouring concrete down the pipes, and Starmer is trying to stop any future governments, you know, stifling, you know, Farage will probably end up in prison for something and mean, oh, he can't stand anymore.
Well, Jacob Rees-Mogg said this, actually, in an interview.
Well, that's what happened.
But it couldn't be any more obvious, the way that they're opening the floodgates as well. It's exactly the same tactics that Tony Blair adopted when he came in 1997. Open the floodgates, get that backing from people who you've allowed to come into the country to bolster your balmy regime.
Yeah, definitely. This is the thing I keep saying, that Reform really have to have the game plan ready to go day one. They don't have a minute to waste, because the blob will fight back. Just because they won a general election doesn't mean anything. Let's look at the Brexit years. They fought back, and you know, we barely got a Brexit. So, you know, unless Farage and Reform are ready, I think they're in for a big rude awakening. It was nice to see Danny Kruger's announcements. That was the right kind of thing. But let's be real, it's the economy, stupid, in the words of Bill Clinton, and they are nowhere on this issue. And that is a real problem for Reform. It's why they've plateaued. It's why they're doing dead cats, well, as I call it, a dead zoo.
Well, and Kemi's doing better. But I mean, we saw with this stuff about Farage at school, and we saw recently the Electoral Commission going, oh, he's overspent. But it's been dropped today because they said it's past the statute of limitation. But why was it even investigated? Because it was known from the start there's a year statute of limitations. So why wasn't it thrown out immediately?
Because it's all about the headline. It's all about the fact that you can paint Farage, with or without the facts, as somebody who's dodgy on expenses. You can paint Farage as the racist because of these historical claims. The point is, really, particularly with the BBC, and I've come around to this idea, is actually it's about the fact that Nigel reacted to it in the way that he did. He bought into it. He was kind of drip-fed this story, and he had 3 different positions on it, and all people saw was Nigel Farage fighting with the BBC like it was 2016. Unfortunately, I think he rather failed that leadership test, but this is the point, is that the Liberal establishment is pushing back, and they are not going down without a fight.
And if it doesn't work, they'll try worse and worse things. I mean, do you agree with Rees-Mogg that he could end up in prison for some spurious accusation?
I don't think he'll go that far, but there will be enough accusations of him being involved in things. Look at the Nathan Gill incident, the fact that one of the Reform's major donors was also arrested in terms of their links to Russia. I think that is their big weak flank, and they're not doing very much about it.
Yeah, do you think they'll change some sort of electoral rules and go like they did in Germany? You can't do, and they tried it in France, didn't they, with Le Pen? That's what they're going to do here, because it does seem to work.
Yeah, definitely. But also, it's the changes to the system itself. So look at this Erasmus Plus announcement. That is going to be impossible to turn back around now, because it's been in, it's been out, it's all chaos. It's a lot of money that's been thrown overseas.
Thing
yes.
where you see,
so
we
it's
have
basically the student visa.
We have the top universities in the world here. Europe doesn't really have that, so it's going to be mainly for them, and it's going to cost us like $8 billion or something over 3 years.
Yeah, it's the fact that they can get student loans in the way that not British students,
and you won't get it back,
and then they just don't pay the back.
Once again, Britain ends up losing. It sounds about right to me, as far as I'm concerned. Let's move to front page of the Guardian for Friday morning. It says Rayner memoir fuels leadership speculation. Angela Rayner is apparently writing a memoir with about her rise to become Deputy Prime Minister and her subsequent fall from grace, the Guardian can confirm, in a move that will be seen as an attempt to set the narrative before any leadership contest. I mean, are the papers just going to bang on about Angela Rayner taking over?
She's a tax evader, not an avoider. She evaded the tax, didn't she?
But are they going to go on about her until she becomes leader, or she confirms one way or another? Because I don't know, Starmer's not going anywhere yet, from what I can see.
Well, they want him to.
No, so this is the big reality. Is the more interesting story is the fact that the woman who took over Unison is very much in the Sharon Graham camp from Unite. They don't like it. You put those two together, the two big trade unions, with Angela Rayner, who is seen as the trade unions person, you then start to see a real movement behind her. The reality is, I don't think the Labour Party are that stupid to get get rid of Starmer because Angela Rayner is unlikely to remain an MP at the next general election.
What,
She's
'cause of
holding
the-
on to
the
a seat
Muslim
with less
vote?
than a 17% majority.
But wasn't she going to try and move to
Also-
Sussex
sorry.
with the new flat she bought? Wasn't that the
Yeah,
idea?
so they do what they call rabbit running. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't like it. They just parachute an MP across. I think it's terrible and it shouldn't be allowed. Very possible, but like you say, she's got this tax problem that she still hasn't paid back, by the way. And, you know, I think that will stick with her. I don't think that she's really going to make it to leader. But I think you're right there, Phil. The papers are going to bang on about it because even Starmer has admitted in the press, I think it was yesterday, that the leadership rumours are rife. So therefore, it's open target on him. He's yet again the political acumen of a doorstop, and you know he's just launched more attacks on himself. It's just
He
ridiculous. that
won't
we're
be
being led by
standing
that
at the next
moron.
election, will he?
Oh, I actually think he'll be the only one in the cabinet that is still retain his
was
seat.
gonna
It's
say,
the
I think he
77th
will.
most safe seat in the country for the Labour Party, and it doesn't really stand much green targeting.
Yeah, but
and
will
the
he be
Tories and
PM?
Reform
He
aren't
won't be
gonna hold it.
leader, though, will he?
Oh, no, but he'll still be an MP.
Will
I
he
bet
want to
you-
do that,
Out of
though?
most of them.
Will he want to be a backbencher
Oh,
or
he
a
doesn't
minister?
have the self-awareness to resign. No, he doesn't have the
He'll want
self-awareness
a
to
job in
resign.
the
so of
EU
course-
or something like, what's his
Yes.
name did, the Lib
Yeah.
Dem guy who went to Facebook.
Oh, Nick
Oh,
Clegg.
Nick Clegg, yeah.
Clegg, yeah.
But yeah, the truth is, though, that I just think that sort of we live in a culture that sort of seems to bang on about a story that's actually sort of born out of something in the way of fantasy, to be honest, without actually any proof whatsoever. And then as soon as it does come to fruition, because it's almost like that effect that sort of if you say something enough times it comes to fruition, then they say, oh, you see, we told you so, we told you it was going to happen. But actually, the truth is, I don't see any sign of it. Starmer has not given any indication he's going anywhere.
I couldn't agree more, and it's called lobby journalism, I'm afraid. It's just if we keep saying something will happen, then it probably will do because they forced the change to happen. Unfortunately, yet again, we're dealing with a mainstream media that does not understand the power that it has or the damage it does for the sake of clickbait, and it's infuriating. But I do agree as well that actually I don't think Angela Rayner is all that. I'm surprised she knew that many words to write a book, but there we go. And yeah, I think it's a lot of confected nonsense, but here we are. We're dealing with Keir Starmer as Prime Minister, and Ed Miliband is actually the most likely one to take over. So let's, that's the nightmare before Christmas, really, isn't
I mean,
it?
that's unbelievable. I mean, he doesn't look right, does he? I mean, Miliband, imagine him as our leader after do you remember the NHS, the big rock and all that? I mean, he definitely wouldn't win. He's already failed once, hasn't he?
Yeah, but this is the thing. The Labour Party membership actually hold more weight than, say, in the Tory leadership races, where it's more about the MPs, to be honest. And the reality is they prefer Ed Miliband at the moment. Now, with a bit of a kind of charm offensive, Angela Rayner might be able to turn that around because of the damage of net zero, and they're very clear that that's not really the track to go down. But the point is that there's this net zero group of them, and it's kind of Sadiq Khan, Andy Burnham, Angela Rayner, Ed Miliband, and they're a very powerful group of people within the Labour Party. And if they all start rallying together to pick one of them to run, and they all back that one person rather than just faction off, there is somewhat blood in the water. So,
but the EU are
who knows,
backtracking on that, aren't they? Like they've now rescinded the ban on petrol cars because their car companies, the big German ones and the Italian and the French, they're all going to fail if they stay electric.
But they've realised the lunacy.
Yeah, but we
basically.
haven't. We're now the last man standing, aren't we?
Unfortunately, chaps, I don't actually think it's nothing to do with net zero. It's the fact that China is actively trying to buy the mass car market in Europe, and are doing it very easily by basically offering cheap versions of other cars.
And of course,
we actually have to thank China for it, by the sound of it.
We don't make cars anymore, because we were crap in the 70s and the Germans, well, everyone else took our lunch. Anyway, look, we got Pete Barnes. If you want to join us after, we're going through the paper 03444991000. It's talk. It's me and Pete. Me and Phil. With Pete.
Close enough.
Andre's sick.
I've been called worse, don't worry.
Exactly, so we'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Across the UK. On DAB+. On YouTube. On your mobile. And on your side. This is Talk.
It is Talk, you know, because it's Asher Gould, it's Phil Dave in for Andre Walker, who's not very well, so Andre, do get well soon. We're with you through until 1 o'clock tomorrow morning, and we're going through the papers at the moment. You see Pete Barnes, who's political strategist, is joining us.
He's stopped vomiting now, the latest. Not Pete. Pete's
he's back tomorrow. Oh, there you go.
He's back tomorrow. He's still hunched over in the drive, but it's dry heaving. Anyway, carry on.
I was going to say a sigh of relief from the nation, knowing that Andre will return tomorrow evening, but maybe. But anyway, Peter Barnes, who's political strategist, joins us to go through Friday's front pages. So, Pete, the front page of the Daily Telegraph for Friday. The headline reads here, Phillipson blocks safe spaces for women. Minister says Supreme Court ruling on female-only lavatories is trans exclusive. I don't mean exclusive as in it's like it's an exclusive piece of journalism. It excludes trans people. Well, I mean, isn't that basically the idea? That was the whole point, wasn't it?
Yes, let's remember that Bridget Phillipson was one of those very awkward politicians that couldn't actually say that she agreed with the Supreme Court ruling on what is a woman. So this really doesn't surprise me that, you know, that she's still banging this drum. I think it is the sign of an intelligent person or not. Like, can you just find what a woman is? You know, I find it quite funny. If you ask Americans this question, they look at you so dumbfounded. You know, you suddenly feel like, is that how we look at them? But it just made me laugh. But it's Bridget Phillipson. But you have to remember, she's running to be deputy leader of the Labour Party. That race has really got a bit quiet, but I think it's going to be a very important one, considering the fact that, you know, Starmer's on its last legs, the government is falling down, and there's a strong chance whoever is elevated into that position might be the kind of heir apparent. I know it's Lucy Powell is the other candidate as well, so it's like, would you rather be shot or hung? But, you know, the outcome is still the same, but it is an interesting one. It started off as a bit of a joke, but actually, as time has progressed, unfortunately, Bridget Phillipson, who I actually think is the most dangerous person in the cabinet, you know, is coming out with this claptrap.
She says that banning transgender women, biological males from women's lavatories would also mean women could not take their infant sons into changing rooms at swimming pools. Well, you can make an age limit, so that's ridiculous. She argues the EHRC guidelines are discriminatory, that the Supreme ruling on biological sex mainly concern maternity rights and that there are already many entirely... So they're trying to basically avoid a court order. I mean, they're meant to be separate from the judiciary. Yet again, we're seeing the tyrannical work of our government.
There's no think there's something so counterintuitive, though, about a female politician who comes across as, even if she'll deny it possibly, comes across as so vehemently anti-women.
Yeah.
That's what I find bizarre.
Yeah.
It is, because that's
because
women's rights. They don't want... Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was going to say the trans movement is inherently misogynistic. The way they talk about women, the way that they like portray what it is to be a woman is always incredibly misogynistic. If one of us three said it on live TV now, we wouldn't be on tomorrow or probably within 5 minutes. You know, the reality is the trans movement is literally there to denigrate women, and the Labour Party are so ingrained with it. It's absolutely ridiculous. But the bigger problem I have is organisations like the NHS actively ignoring it. You know, they won't get rid of single gender wards. They won't do most of what is required of them because they've done this thing where they said, oh, we need the guidelines, we need the guidance. You don't need the guidance. You never have done. Everybody knows what a woman is and everybody knows what a man is.
The ruling was very straightforward.
Use this language to kind of...
Weaseling out.
But what's so baffling is that you're actually talking about, the last time I checked, you were talking about a portion of society that makes up something like, and please don't quote me on the exact figures, but I think it is something like 0.0025% of the population. All of this fuss is about. And then you're going to go on the basis of denigrating and annoying and upsetting what is tantamount to 50% of the population almost.
And also, you don't have to have, you know, this rule, you don't have to have the whole... you can just be a man, basically, can't you?
Well, if you choose to identify as a woman, can't you?
Yeah,
you don't even have to go
that's also ridiculous, because, of course, that's a door open for people who have got nefarious reasons, and there's, you know, a lot of that as goes on. I mean, they will abuse...
Yeah, I've got to say, I don't know if you saw the story today, chaps, but there was somebody who said that they got offended by a Christmas card that says, I identify as the Grinch. That was a legitimate story.
It got destroyed, the car, didn't it?
Ridiculous.
Everyone, they've taken it out all the shops and, because they say it's trans exclusive. This one, Motability bosses pay soars to £924,000. So this is the cars. I'm seeing a lot of BMWs. I mean, they've changed it now, but I've seen a lot of 2025 BMWs and Mercedes. And apparently it's 1 in 5 cars or something are bought on this Motability.
1 in 4.
1 in 4 cars.
It's 1 in 4. Yeah.
I mean...
yeah, but the problem is, when you look at what the Labour Party did, they just said, oh, you don't get an S-Class. You know, they didn't actually realise that you shouldn't get a car because you're a bit sad. We blame a lot of things on kind of the migrant crisis and all these other factors. But I would remind you, it is not those people that took advantage of this system. And we have to kind of look at our society and wonder, how did we get this greedy and this kind of self-obsessed? Because that's what this story really is. Because there is no way a government is ever going to start pulling benefits away because of the narrative we saw where they only tried to take away $5 billion. The Labour Party backbenchers went mental. Most of the public lost its mind. And unfortunately, we don't have the money to kind of give people a free car. I wish we did, but we don't.
No, I don't. I'm sorry. I absolutely don't wish that. No, I don't wish that at all. I'm sorry. If people want things, go out and blooming all work for it. Seriously, like the rest of us have to. It drives me nuts. Do you know, there was this chap who, where I used to live, it was in northwest London. I don't need to be too specific because I don't want to identify anyone. And he was blatantly, shall we say, not able to work in a high-paid job. You come to your own conclusions as to what reasons for that was. But he had, I'm not joking, a Jaguar XF on Motability, and I think that's outrageous. Sorry. You know, I mean, my father, for example, right, he had a Jag XF a few years back, but he was about mid-60s till he got it. He had to work all his life to be able to get the car he wanted. Blooming well go and do the same. If
now they get, if you have a few kids, you can be on an equivalent of 100 grand. I mean, it's not going to last, is it? It's going to come tumbling down, and it doesn't matter.
The reality is, I was going to say, the problem is the government are literally spending, what, 5 billion, if not, I think it's close to 8-9 billion now, on hotels every year for illegal for people who shouldn't even be in the country. So it's really difficult for them to kind of say, you've got to live within your means while they're flushing out money on literally everything else other than what it needs to go on. The big problem is the narrative of changing benefits hasn't really broken through. In other words, we need to make sure the money is going to the people that need it. You know, it's not about taking things off you, it's about reallocating where it's supposed to go. And
to the right people, because you get properly...
any political party.
You get properly disabled people who aren't getting the help they need because other people are, swinging the lead.
It does have to be said that, curiously, I think of all of the parties who would be able to make changes to the benefit system with the least amount of backlash, even though there obviously has been backlash with some of the proposals put forward by the Labour Party, namely, of course, winter fuel allowance, and ultimately leading to that U-turn. But obviously, with things like Motability as well, it sort of feels as though the Labour Party is the right party to do that, because if it was the Tories, it says nasty Tories, oh, it's reform, maybe it's racist. Do you know what I mean?
It's a form of bribery, isn't it?
Yeah, always the argument.
You're going to vote for Labour if you know you're going to get a car, and you're going to lose it if the Tories get in or the Reform get in.
Yeah, 100%. This is why I keep saying that it's society. It's society that has actually driven this problem, ironically. But I do agree with you, Phil. But the problem is the unions and the other bits of the civil society that are run by the left are a lot smarter than the government. So they know how to play the system better. And unfortunately, because we're led by what is essentially a moron,
buffoons,
we're stuck with it. Yeah.
I mean, we've seen that.
This was always the great idea.
We've seen
that the left and the Labour Party could actually reform the NHS, for example.
Well, we've seen it with the strikes. They had a 28% pay rise not long ago, and they said we're going to strike again, by the way, and they didn't make any terms and conditions. It's just they're just incompetent.
On the day they came into office, they gave the civil service, I think it was like a 29% pay rise.
But it's
such a big block now. It's their voters.
With no terms and conditions attached to that.
But it's their voters now. It's such a big block, all the public services. Anyway, albino badgers could scup a £25 million stately home refurbishment. This is in the Telegraph. Entrepreneurs' proposal to build 82 homes on the estate at Parnham House, opposed by conservationists. Albino badgers could scup a plan. Anyway, couldn't they just say, you know, like when they build a certain amount of flats, they give some to social housing? Couldn't they give a couple to the albino albino badgers. I didn't know about these.
Do you think
albinos.
could I identify as
Just
an
a white badger? Racist.
Can I identify as an albino badger, and then
Yeah,
maybe
you
I'll
do.
get a stately home?
You could be, man.
Yeah.
I thought that was Brian May. I thought that was his thing, wasn't it? He
loves
got
the
burst through the wall
badgers,
like the
doesn't he?
Kool-Aid guy.
He doesn't like
yeah,
the
he was always a
albino
big thing
ones.
against the badger cult.
He just likes the normal ones. Yeah.
Also on the front page of the Daily Telegraph for Friday, by the way, Badenoch, British boys don't need misogyny lessons, migrants do. So very much actually of a similar train of thought as to sort of what some
She's
of
riding
our
high,
messages-
Badenoch, at the moment, isn't she? Incredible stuff she's
Where
doing.
was
She
she?
really
Where's
is.
she
She's
been?
finally found her.
Yeah, I was going to say, where's
To
she
be
been,
honest,
for goodness sake?
I was going to say, having been part of that for a little while, what I will say is the fact that with the minute that she tried to speak, everybody told her to shut up because nobody wanted to hear from the Tories anymore. She's now done that kind of sit on the naughty step and finally got a voice back. I do think she's perfectly right on this issue. And I was on with Kevin earlier today, and I tell you now, this issue has cut through like no other. It's absolutely astounding, the response to it, because it's just the ridiculousness that yet again they think like a TV show is going to fix all of this stuff and giving 11-year-olds anti-misogyny lessons while they're letting in millions of people from third world countries who do not view women in the same way. And we see what is happening, and they're going to start saying it's all 11-year-old kids' fault. Grow up. It's pathetic.
But that's
It's
why they're
absolutely
doing
pathetic.
it. They're saying, look over here and don't look over there. It's a misdirection. It's classic, isn't it?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, if you want to protect women and girls, first thing you do is sack Jess Phillips, because look at how she's running the grooming gangs inquiry. That tells you how much this government really cares about women and girls. Not some kids' lesson. It's useless. It's absolutely pathetic, because yet again they misunderstand the problem. It's not that social media created it. It's just it turned it up to 11. It's an amplifier. The problem is they denigrated men. They said all men are rapists, all men are killers, and you know men just checked out. So why on earth, you know, are they suddenly so surprised that you know that there is a high rate of misogyny? It's
actually,
ridiculous.
but it
They
actually
just don't understand it.
But it actually feels very much like the sort of the starting point. Do you remember when there was this thing, probably about, I reckon it started about 15, 20 years ago, something like that, and forgive me if I've got my dates slightly wrong, when they started talking about how men had something in the way of nefarious views about children, and therefore men shouldn't be near children because they obviously couldn't love them.
That's why you got hardly any male primary school teachers.
And there was and then they sort of started moving more towards a general rule that sort of school teachers shouldn't go anywhere near children, they shouldn't hug them, they can't. I remember one of the saddest things that, like in a previous employer's place, they brought in a class of school children and they were very excited where I was. It was the studios and they were obviously getting a bit boisterous, a bit happy. One of them wants to go and hug the teacher just because she was excited to see everything, and the teacher said, oh, no, you know the rules, no touching. This was about 10 years ago. And it's just pathetic.
You used to hug your teachers?
No.
Yeah, I was going to say, you bring up a really good point.
I would never hug my teachers.
I hug my, but it feels like that. It feels like the beginning of this. It's if we are now going to sort of ensue this revolting view that 11-year-olds can't just be hormonal, that they must be misogynists, that it's going to have the most terrible detrimental effect on them in later life.
Yeah, man. Anyway,
without a doubt, but it's... Oh, sorry, go on.
0344 499 1000. Give us a ring on that. We're going to be taking all your calls. We're going through the papers, though, now with Pete. The I paper coming up. There's Wilhelm and Catherine, Prince William. Be strong to face down Russia. Oh, yeah, they're trying to say we've all got to go to war. No one's going to want to fight for this country. And then there won't be anyone left. Yeah, well, more of that in a couple of minutes. It's Talk. It's me and Phil with Pete.
Across the UK. On DAB+. On YouTube. On your mobile. And on your side. This is Talk.
This is the paper review hour. It's Phil Dave in for Andre Walker, but Asher Gould is thankfully still here, so he's maintaining some sense of normality for you. I wondered whether or not...
By the way, if you're listening in the morning, Lanky Dolan. Mark Dolan, hello, I'm Mark Dolan, 03444991000. It's Talk.
I think it's JK.
There he is. Put your top on, Mark, and take off those nipple tassels. But look, hold up the paper,
Oh, yeah.
look.
No, can we try a magic trick now? Because do you remember we were talking earlier about the Daily Mail? We were talking about Sophie Corcoran, who's on the front page. I wonder if I sort of hold this up and then I sort of snap my fingers, whether or not we can bring it to life. Let's try it. Let's see what happens.
No, that doesn't work like that.
Does that work? Have we got?
Doesn't work. You see, it doesn't work, yeah.
Oh, no.
If
Maybe you do it.
No, it doesn't work. No. It's worked.
There we go, it's worked.
Hi, Sophie.
Hi.
You're on the front of the Mail. Did you know that?
You're famous, Sophie.
Yeah, I found it out today, thankfully. I was at work.
Well, this is the headline. The women who's outraged... You always outrage, you people. Who's outraged millions by revealing her dream Christmas dinner is a Tesco chicken tikka masala for one. What's so outrageous and angered people about that? Makes me happy. Oh, are you all right?
Oh, no.
She didn't know, she's so shocked.
She fainted at the thought.
Why are millions...
Right,
why has everyone gone crazy about you having a chicken tikka slice at Christmas Day?
You know what? They always have, but I found out recently, which is why I put this piece in the Mail, that more and more people are finally having curry for Christmas dinner. So at first they did it and I was the enemy of the people, but now I can safely say that I am the trendsetter.
Do you add any things to it, like a bit of turkey or some, you know, to change the tikka masala?
No. Why on earth would I do that?
Well, to make it a bit Christmassy and that.
No.
Shouldn't you have a turkey tikka masala?
No, it's your bog standard Tesco's chicken tikka. Nothing wrong with it. Bit of toast, couple of oven chips, job done.
Okay, but I don't mean to be rude. Why is that worthy of being on the front page of the Daily Mail? Have a look.
Show the dog
here.
the rabbit.
See, look, I don't mean to be rude. I'm really like pleased for you and stuff. Obviously,
Top billing. It's the headline. It's the headline, isn't it?
Yeah, look. You're underneath the logo and everything.
I know. I'm just super, really. I think, why wouldn't you want to put me on the front page of the Daily Mail?
I understand why I want to put you, but it's talking about... I don't understand sort of why, like, chicken tikka masala.
You're just jealous, Bill.
I'm very jealous.
Just because you eat a chicken tikka masala on Christmas and no one wants to talk about it.
I wouldn't. I'd have a nut roast.
When she has one, it makes waves.
Well, what if I was to have a nut roast curry? Would I go on the front page of the Daily Mail then?
Do you do that every year, or do you sometimes have a beef puna?
What's that?
No.
Or
to be fair,
a lamb ganzak? A rasmalai.
Always a chicken tikka. But to be fair, I said to one of the editors when they texted me the front page, and they said, "Oh my God, you're on the front page." I said, "I've always dreamed of having a front page, but I never thought it would be about curry."
You like that bloke? Do you have Christmas dinner every other day and only on Christmas Day? Mr. Christmas, he does that. Do you not? I mean, what about your family? You haven't fallen out with your family, have you?
No, they all eat roast dinner and everything. I'm just weird, so I like.
So you're with them, and you have the tikka masala while they have a roast dinner.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Sophie, I'm really sorry if I've remembered this incorrectly, but you have a twin sibling, don't you?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, but does she do the same?
She'll have the same then, won't she? Yeah, that's how twins work. She'll have the tikka masala as well.
No, she eats roast dinner, but I just, it really put me off when I was in primary school, like the disgraceful things. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, because, you are slightly older than I am.
Steady.
But what I will say is that I remember we used to have these Christmas dinners at primary school every year, and they were the most rancid thing I have ever had the misfortune to consume ever in my life. And since then, I just will not touch it.
So you're saying your mum's cooking is like that, disgusting, terrible. Basically, your mum's very hurt by what you're doing.
No,
actually, you know what, Sophie, you've really reminded me of something. Genuinely, I absolutely despise Brussels sprouts, big time. Right, to me, they're the most. They are the devil's food.
That'll be on tomorrow's Daily Mail.
But hang on a second.
Phil Dave doesn't like Brussels sprouts.
But the reason for my saying that is that the reason I don't like it is because I remember seeing a kid at school being force-fed Brussels sprouts, and it made him ill. So I've had this bad association with Brussels sprouts.
Just little cabbages.
It's like you say. It's you said that when no they did because it was a sort of a posh school, so they weren't allowed to waste the money. So he was forced.
We had capital punishment at high school.
Well, no, because he took the Brussels sprouts and it was to teach him you can't go wasting food. So he was forced, and it made him sick.
And it made him waste the food.
So
ironically,
so a bit like Andre, but basically what it did is it scarred me for life, and as a result of it, I don't like it. So I get it completely. You say about sort of the school dinners, and that sort of put you off Christmas dinner for life. I get that.
Yeah, but they used to get cheap cuts of meat at school dinners.
Oh.
I mean, is your mum's food that bad?
No, I think my mum's cooking's fantastic. I just really love Tesco's curry. But look, I put a challenge out there to anyone. If you think that your roast is so top notch that it will get me off of eating my Christmas curry for Christmas, and you think that you can radicalise me into liking roast dinners, then please do. But I just think roast is weird. Potatoes.
Your mum's can't.
No.
She's not a very good cook, is she?
I feel like there's more like radical behaviour facing the UK at the moment than Christmas dinner.
How come your sister likes it? I mean, she would have had exactly the same life as you. Sophie?
Oh, she's
No, I think she was there. She was just deeply offended by that question.
Is that what you call a frozen dinner?
Right, let's go to Pete. Get Pete's views on his Christmas dinner. Pete, what are you doing? Are you going up north to have a traditional northern
Yeah, you're
one?
not going to have curry, are you, Pete?
We actually tend to have curry like the day after Boxing Day. But we have a turkey curry. So you put all the bits of meat, you put it all together.
And it's actually nicer, isn't it, when it's all marinated?
Yeah, I have to. But the problem is turkey goes quite stringy. So, and then it's not always the best meat to have, but it's a way of eating it up before so you don't have to throw it away.
Why do we eat
but
it?
actually, I do agree with Sophie, though, about the trauma of school meals, and it kind of lingers with you.
Oh, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Pete, we've got into terrible trouble here from Dawn. Dawn says, just changed from listening to you on the app to watching you on YouTube. Where are your hats? Because we were talking before about the Christmas hats. So we were being told
it got a bit hot.
Got a bit boiling under here. But anyway, so we've got to put the hats back on. I'm really sorry. But we're just doing as we're told.
So Sophie gone then? Is that it?
Have we lost Sophie? So it is Jeremy tomorrow.
It's Jeremy. Dolan, you're here. It's a wrong day again. Go home,
No, he doesn't normally, but Jeremy's doing Friday.
They look very similar.
This week. Yeah.
So it's Kyle on tomorrow. So do you like going home? Have you got brothers and sisters, Pete?
I have an older sister, and I probably go home maybe twice a year.
So it's nice to see the folks.
I have to admit, I tend to stay here.
Is she a good cook, your mum?
To be fair, they come down. They come down here, so it's not the end of the world, really.
They're coming down, are they?
Yeah. No. They usually do. Like, we kind of alternate.
Don't they get confused? Because when Northerners come to London, you see them looking confused at all the sophistication and the big buildings. Do they get a bit scared when they're down here? And you go up north, there's all the cottages with the smoke coming out the top and the cobbles.
Yeah, I grew up in Beatrix.
What's this? Don't worry, it's an electric light.
And you have the small doorways, don't you? You have those short doorways.
But do remember that
I like those, though, because it makes me feel taller. I like the short doorways.
Oh, yeah, Dan. What was that about the Lake District? Is that where they live?
Well, you're going to say, like, everybody moans, but the water from up north is much better. The ones my parents have, it comes from the Lake District. It's like bottled water out of the tap. It's delightful.
What, from Windermere?
Compared to what we have here in London.
Is it from Windermere, is it? Or Coniston? Or...
It's from that way, I think. Yeah, Coniston more likely, but yeah.
Nice.
Interesting fact, none of the lakes in the Lake District are actual lakes.
What are they?
Yeah. They're like
reservoirs.
It's a different word. Yeah, they're not technically lakes. They're not deep.
They're
enough,
not a lake. They're ponds. Are they ponds? The pond district doesn't sound.
It's something like that. Yeah.
It's
one of those weird facts from school. I remember.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Do you know another incredible fact? Loch Ness is bigger than all the lakes in England put together, which is why the monster lurks
That's
there.
a good fact.
It's, an interesting fact, very deep.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and did you know that the River Thames flows through London?
Does it?
Daily Express.
Oh, yeah, Daily
front
Express.
page. Be strong to face down Russia. You teased this before. Kemi Badenoch says only her Tories have the quote-unquote competence to deal with Putin's threats.
I was speaking to Chris Parry, a Rear Admiral, and I said, what is all this about the warfare? And he said it's all about negotiation. This is how you negotiate from a position of strength. Obviously, we're not going to go to war. They throw 1 million troops, Russia. We haven't got the people to have a meat grinder like that. We'll lose a whole generation like we did in the First World War. They're not ready for it. It's like trench warfare and drones. Who wants to... young people going out and just getting blown to bits by drones. It's a ridiculous...
Yeah.
But apparently it's all part of the negotiation.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. We're in what they call the war of words situation. It's why you get leaders wandering around army barracks and being on tanks and all that kind of thing. We're at that stage of the negotiations. In other words, we will go to war if we have to, but let's still talk around a big board table. But the reality is, what the narrative you've just put out there, Ash, is the same thing the press was saying and was common thought before World War II, when we call that the greatest generation. Winston Churchill always said that the nation is a pride of lions, often asleep, but when it decides to roar, it knows what it's doing. And I always stand by that, you know, we don't get all up in arms about something, and we might always not be perfect, but when we have to rise to the occasion, the Brits usually do. And it's the one thing I'm clinging to. So please don't take that away from me, not at Christmas.
I don't want to take it away, but I don't know about you, but I'm personally terrified at the prospect of any of the politicians that we have at the moment negotiating with something.
I think that's why Sunak may have left. But I mean, two nuclear powers have never gone to war with each other, and everyone says, "Oh, don't worry, Putin wouldn't do that." But no one really knows what Putin will do. You know what I mean? Who knows?
It's also the fact that people used to say that two nations with a McDonald's have never gone to war with each other. Well, that got broken not so long ago. So, you know, old rules don't always apply in the new.
That was the big turning point, wasn't it, when the McDonald's people with McDonald's and them went to war? We never expected that. Anyway, 03444991000. I think Sophie's gone, but we've got the story. She's having a chicken ticket slice.
She's on the front page of the Daily Mail.
She's on the mat and she hates her mum's cooking. So give us a ring on that number. We're going through the papers with Pete, and it's talk. It's the conversation of the nation.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
It's Talk. It's me and Phil Dave. We're doing the papers. We've got Pete Barnes with us. The Daily Star, our Daily Star thought for the day. stung 180, and that's terrible. They come up with these. Basically, rest in peace. There's been a wasp infestation at Ali Pali in the darts championship, and it landed on Dart Ace kills Ali Pali's lucky wasp after it lands on his face. Now, I've done that before. I felt something, and I went like that, and it stung me. So, but he looks like he's all right. Hockey star David Mumua,
or something.
Mumua.
I believe that's the way to pronounce it. But even
Mumua.
but that's terrifying. Seriously, I mean, if you can't see this now, if you're only listening,
it's terrifying.
I have to actually describe that this wasp looks like a big old wasp, believe me, is literally directly below
on the soft bit of your eye
right
underneath.
Eyelid.
Yeah.
That's
the
shocking.
bit that goes black when you're knackered. It's the wasp is there. And
that's really scary.
He still won, and he got a double swat. And a hole in one.
Did he throw
Rory? A hole in one.
What?
Oh, a hole in one. Not a hole.
Oh, I see.
Rory. So
that's to do with sports
Rory
personality of the year,
he
isn't
won
it?
the
Yeah.
personality of the year. Apparently, he's winning all the golf.
Is it Rory
Who
McIlroy?
cares? We're not talk sports.
But I love the front page there that says bullseye. Yeah, because they're buzzing.
Apparently, the show Bullseye's back, but it's not the same without Tony
it's really
and
not.
Bully and.
Have you seen it? It's Freddie Flintoff presents it now.
Well, that's just.
It's not good. I'm sorry, no
really.
offence. It's not good.
Pete.
Pete, are you there?
Sorry, you still there,
sorry.
Pete? Pete.
I am here. Yeah, I was enjoying the
conversation.
conversation.
Yeah, sorry, Pete.
You should be in the studio. Sorry.
What is anything you want to talk about?
I was in that building all day.
I know.
So have I been. Get over it.
You don't. You can't. It's difficult, isn't it?
No.
By the way,
but,
we done all our Christmas specials, and we did What Just Happened. That's coming out tomorrow at 9 p.m. And Grumpy Old Men, that's me, Jeremy Carl, and Mark Wogan presenting. That's Saturday on YouTube. Does it not go out on the main? You've got some Christmas shows, haven't you?
Yeah, it's true, actually.
When
I'm going to be looking after some of the mid-morning shows for Talk during the festive
nice,
season.
Man. It's good at Christmas because they leave all stuff around and there's no one to keep an eye on what's going on.
My brother's
Gould's
on breakfast, isn't he?
Christmas breakfast and
Nick Dubois is coming back.
Nick Dubois back.
Yeah, Nick Dubois is coming back.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I'm going to say I'm hosting the political asylum on the 2nd, so
yes.
I'm well kept away.
Yeah, everyone's having it. Everyone's having it. I'm off. Yeah. I'm off. Mark's on with Ben, aren't you?
Yeah.
Mark, and you'll be on tomorrow
Ben
with
Fletcher.
Ben, won't you? From one. Marty Kellner, even he's back. Everyone's like revolving doors.
Good gracious
It's
me.
like revolving doors, isn't it? You never got
Lots of new ideas coming out of this building. It's amazing.
Christo, no, he's not coming back. BOE responds to cooling inflation by cutting rates a quarter point. That's the Bank of England. So mortgages are going down. They're trying to boost things. Starmer takes safe option as veteran diplomat Turner given Washington. This is all very sophisticated in the FT. We don't really know what they're on about.
I don't know what they're talking about. Well, we know that. Yeah, but we do know that basically the Bank of England has cut inflation.
Yeah, well, that's simple. That doesn't it?
Yeah. The interesting thing on that is actually it was a very close vote. So they have the kind of monetary policy kind of group, and it was an incredibly close vote, which means, the Bank of England kind of doesn't have a clue what it's doing, and that's been a big problem for quite some time. It's about time we actually got to grips with the Bank of England. They have incredible amounts of power, completely unaccountable.
Well, shouldn't it go back to the government? Gordon Brown's.
Well, they already are. So this is the point.
It's fake, isn't it? Fake independence.
Yeah, it's a fake independence. The Chancellor still holds the power to take it back, so therefore it's not independent.
Well, also he can fire the boss. He can fire the boss, so you've got to do what he says, or you're fired.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but unfortunately that would take guts and courage, and we're asking Keir Starmer to do that, so that's never going to happen, is it?
No chance of that. Daily Express says a happy Christmas from William, Catherine and the kids.
It's a good photo this year, actually.
Yeah, I don't think Catherine took it, so it's a good professional
She didn't take the last one.
Because they put one arm, she had 3 arms, didn't she, and 2 noses, because she was trying to be clever on the Photoshop. But that was,
she got a red
that was when
didn't she, or whatever they call it?
Eh?
Yeah, did she get what did the press call it? I can't remember. It's like
I
a red
liked
notice.
it. I thought it was nice.
It's
seen the extra fingers and all that.
It's been that heavily edited or whatever that it's not classed as a verifiable photo or something.
I think you have to feel a bit sorry for Prince Louis, because I'm not so sure how he's going to chew the Christmas turkey this year, because he's got quite a few teeth missing. I assume obviously it's the baby teeth are falling out. But do you think the Tooth Fairy visits
He's
the
a
royal
character,
family?
though, isn't he? He is. He's a
No,
funny...
he's great. You can tell.
Oh, yeah,
he's going to grow up to be the rebel of that family, let's be honest.
Yeah, let's
he
hope
already
he's
is.
not like the Andrew or Harold, you know what I mean?
No,
Let's
heaven
hope he-
forbid, but you know what I mean.
Do you know what I mean? And be strong to face down Russia. Badenoch says only a Tories have the competence to deal with Putin's threat. Badenoch and the Tories are the party with the resolve to confront Putin as Britain was warned to prepare for war.
So
Pete,
good,
no one's gonna join.
we did that headline twice. Right.
Yeah, it's all because we reiterated it. But I mean, if you were young, you wouldn't join it. Well, you might get called up, Pete. I mean, are you going to be? Are you going to go to prison, get the white feather, and just be a conscientious objector?
Oh, probably. But
I would.
I'm going to say I'd probably be like the last group. To, like,
Well,
as a
you'll
last
be a
ditch
called
attempt,
up. I'll
like,
be
you know.
all right. Phil, you're the youngest one here.
Pete Barnes is younger than me.
Yeah, I know. He just doesn't look it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you'll both be going
Thanks,
over
Ash.
the top.
What? No, hang on a second. But no, hang on. No, would you joke? Well, I suppose I'd scare them off that way, wouldn't I?
Cannon
If you shove me
fodder.
at the front line, that's the way to do
Cannon
it, isn't
fodder.
it? Could you imagine? It's like, ooh, they're not worth fighting if they all look like that. No, thank you very much. Front page of the iPaper, for goodness sake, move this on. Talk about me going to war. That's terrible. Mortgage price war in spring 2026 as bank offers hope on inflation. I've just renewed my mortgage. I've done it at a really bad time, haven't I?
No, oh yeah, you should have
Little
waited
bit,
a few
yeah.
weeks. Yeah, you've really, you've made a big, that's a
made a
big
mistake.
You either
mistake
should have
with
done it
that.
about a month ago. Yeah, did it about a month ago, or you should have waited a little bit longer.
Yeah,
But
now's the
there
time
you
to
go.
strike, isn't it?
Oh, well, I made a mess of that one,
No,
didn't
you
I?
really messed
Yeah,
up that one.
but anyway.
Cows trained to limp, dogs in makeup. The inside story of all creatures, great and small. So these were stunt animals, and you could train cows to limp, and dogs would wear makeup. That's why they look so beautiful with their fluttering eyelashes.
Have you
stunt
seen-
cows.
Some people have too much time.
Yeah, have you seen
Some
all
people
creatures
really should
great
just get
and
a job.
small? Have you seen the Channel
I'm not
5
that
version?
old.
No,
Have you
the
seen
Channel
what?
the Channel 5 version of All Creatures Great
What
and
do you
Small.
mean? They've bastardised a new one, have they?
Yeah,
Is
it's
it? I bet it's
amazing.
not going to. No, I don't like the remake.
No, it's really good.
No,
It's
no,
got
no.
quite a few series.
I
It's
can't
really
believe
good.
they've. Is it?
Yeah, it's been.
It's not going to be as good though.
It's really
Better.
good.
Yeah, but do you remember when they remade
not the one
Wurzel
that's set in
Gummidge and
Corfu.
it was rubbish?
But this isn't Wurzel Gummidge.
Yeah.
It's All Creatures
Yeah, but it's the
Great
same.
and
They've
Small.
ruined his, the image.
Did
of,
you star in the remake of Wurzel Gummidge?
No, I could have, couldn't I? They dressed me up as that.
It's an
sometimes.
autobiography.
In a fiction, maybe. Right, UK set for Brexit showdown with Brussels over cheaper electricity bills. We could do with that. We can't afford anything. We've got no industry anymore.
I'm sorry, we're going to have a showdown with the EU. We're in the back pocket. In what world are we having a showdown?
fake
I mean,
news.
we've just literally betrayed Brexit in the most dramatic fashion, and Keir Starmer is intent on getting realignment in place so that the next Parliament we will have a referendum on rejoining. I can guarantee that because we're so closely aligned with them.
But with
now.
a referendum, would we vote to rejoin? They won't bother. Well, they won't risk. They won't risk a
unfortunately,
referendum, will they?
Well, you'd be surprised.
No,
that
well,
most
they,
polling
because
seems to
they
suggest.
was going to say they'd turn
Yeah.
around and they'd say, "Oh, well, look, now the British public want this, so we've got to go straight back."
Only
to the EU.
16 to 40-year-olds can vote. They'll do something like that. 'cause it's
Do you
so
know?
big.
I've got. There's also a small part of the front page of the Eye. It's an opinion piece. I wanted to cast your mind back over our many chancellors that we've had in the last decade or so. Do you remember Kwasi Kwarteng? Yes, of course you do.
Oh, yeah.
I do.
Kwasi
Yeah.
was the shortest-serving chancellor that we've ever seen in history.
Ironic for a very tall man.
Yeah, well, quite, yes. So, I mean, I can't relate to being very tall, I'm afraid.
No, it's not all that.
But
It's not all that,
but
it's cracked
so
up to
but
it.
the opinion piece by Kwasi Kwarteng says things look good for Kemi because we had no expectations. That's a bit scary.
Well, she's good though as well. He's just
Yeah.
jealous.
But maybe. But
Yeah,
actually, I have to
I-
say,
I've gotta say-
I think that there's kind of a point to that, isn't there?
No, I think she's
Yeah,
done
again,
well.
if your expectations is not falling down, then you're doing a great job. This is the problem, is that we have those same expectations of Keir Starmer, and he continues to fall down. Kemi's great skill was always the fact that she didn't fall into the Nigel Farage trap of just being the loudmouth in the room. She's actually been smart about it and actually realised that, that the Labour Party and the Reform are going to go to war with each other. The real war was never the Tories and Reform. That had already happened. We're seeing the disintegration of the Labour Party whilst in office, which is more terrifying, but all the angry Tory votes already gone there. The reality is all Kemi had to do was hold together enough people who didn't vote. That's
Yeah,
the
but
thing.
she's done
More
very well
people
at
didn't
Prime Minister's
vote.
questions after the budget thing ever
Yes.
since then.
She was brilliant
She's
after
really
the budget.
powering ahead.
Yeah.
This is not to do with
But again,
low
I
expectations.
think it was last. Yeah, I think it was last week where I did say that, if she missed that open goal, she had to go.
But
if you couldn't get Rachel Reeves on that, I mean...
But she stormed it. She didn't just, she really stormed it.
But it's old Kemi. It's the Kemi everyone remembers.
She's come out of a shell now.
I was going to say, but the limited expectations are right, but it's not because... I had no expectation personally of Kemi Badenoch. I actually had quite high hopes for her.
And we were all disappointed,
when the leadership contest was happening, I wanted her to win originally. And then, of course, this sort of showdown with Robert Jenrick. And actually, it turns out Jenrick sort of seemed to be the strongest.
He sort of disappeared a bit, hasn't he,
he's backed off a little bit. But actually, I was going to say, in terms of with Kemi, it's not that I had no expectation of her. I had no expectation of the Tories after the shambles they made of 14 years in government.
No, but I thought she'd do all right. And she was a bit disappointing, actually. And now she's actually become better than what we expected, I think.
Do you think that's a clever move on her part?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt. She understood that, she can't be the lammer. She's got to take the time for the public to get over those kind of that general election hatred towards them. Yeah, I call it naughty step time. We call it in the kind of the politics world, we call it being on the naughty step. And Robert Jenrick seems to be on the naughty step at the moment. In other words, he's been a bit too loud, he's been a bit too boisterous, he's too there, and he's been sidelined and he's been told to sit down a little bit by somebody.
And who's behind Badenoch? Is this a clever design? This has happened. Who's behind her PR?
Well, they always say it's the grandees and the party elders. Well, unfortunately, they seem to be pensioners with a pretty good tailor.
Who's the Mandelson and Alistair Campbell type figure?
There isn't. This is the thing. There's not really one single person, which is probably a better way of doing it. They're actually working together. Unfortunately, there is still a streak in the Tory party that hold the ECHR as a bit of a red line. They've still got that wet element, as Margaret Thatcher would have called it. But I've always said the broad party, the broad church, is actually the Tories' greatest strength, because if you could get that group of people to all agree on something, there's a strong chance the country will agree on something. So that's why they've been so successful throughout history.
Do you think
we'll have to wait and see whether she can keep the momentum.
Do you think maybe she's changed her political advisors or something? Because she just doesn't seem like the same Kemi Badenoch who started as the new leader of the Tories after everything.
It's because she found the issue. She found the issue, and it's the economy. It was always going to be the economy. You can't out Farage on immigration. They've nothing on kind of crime, which is the Labour Party, which they're going to hammer. But what I will say is it's always been the economy, and I said it from day one. The way the Tories bring it back is economic competency, because you have to go back to Rishi Sunak. The economy was at an uptick position. On the day of the first budget that Rachel Reeves gave, the Tories were the most trusted on the economy. The poll immediately after, it doubled in terms of competency when it came to the Tories. So, it's one of those things, as Bill Clinton always says, it's the economy, stupid. And it always was going to be. Immigration is a very big issue, but people are starting to feel it in their pockets and their wallets, and they're not blaming the immigrants for it, I'm afraid.
I'm afraid one of the biggest issues we're facing is time, because that's all we've got time for the pay-per-view. But
by the way, Jenrick struck again. Tools worth 80 grand seized after Jenrick confronted thieves at a car boot sale. 4 people arrested on suspicion of handling stolen goods and have been released on bail by the Met Police. Anyway, thanks, Pete.
Thanks,
if
Pete.
You're listening in the morning, Jeremy Kyle, great to see Jenrick's back in solving major crimes. But Jeremy Kyle is foaming at the mouth, ready to come in and do the breakfast show. It's not Dolan. Go home, Dolan. So we'll be back. Get calling. It's all about your calls. It's me and Phil. Non-stop calls. Andre's still sick. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Across the UK. On DAB+. On YouTube. On your mobile. And on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, man, look, it's
Good
me
morning.
and Phil. Morning, it's me and Phil. Dave, rise and shine, everyone. It's morning time to get up and go to work. Andre Walker is sick as a pig, so he didn't make it in, but he says he's going to come in tomorrow. He's not vomiting anymore, but he's going to spread it all
He doesn't.
tomorrow.
Yeah, I was going to say it's very kind of him not to spread the germs. We've actually had quite a lot of sickness here, to be honest with you. It's a miracle we're here. To tell you the
People
truth.
say you look like a Bond villain.
Do I?
Yeah, in the old picture.
I have got a cat at home. Rufus is hopefully at home
Well, there
watching
you
this.
go. I
The
mean,
cat,
you're halfway there, aren't
I
you?
am, really. I'll bring him in
There's
another
the one
time.
you specifically look like. I'm trying to find his name, the British guy.
Was it? The British. Oh, I don't
Yeah,
know. Well, at
he
least
used
they
to live in
sound
Chiswick
British.
on the
That's
Thames.
good.
I've seen his plaque to him. Anyway, what's
Oh.
it? What you wanted to read?
Oh,
Have a
yeah,
look
so
at the
Simon's
text.
messaged in here, okay, and I completely get this, because it's actually sort of happened to me as well.
Yeah.
He said that reference with what happened during your school days. You remember we were talking to Sophie earlier on, we were talking about how she couldn't have Christmas dinner because of what she had at school, and I was saying about Brussels sprouts, and he was saying that during your school years, affecting you for the rest of your life, because he says, I'm of an age where we used to get free milk in the mornings, and it used to be left out in the hot weather, and even today, I can't drink milk neat. That's from Simon in Bray. I'm with you 100%. Again,
Used to be a bit
at
warm,
school,
didn't it?
I was
Yeah.
forced to drink milk as it was, and it
In the
I
third of a
just
pint. I
can't
used to
do
like it. I used to like that, yeah. I didn't like the custard with the skin on the top. I used to hate that, yeah.
Gracious me, that's revolting.
Anyway, look, it's
Yeah.
all about your call, 0344 499 1000. You can leave us a WhatsApp message if you're scared to come on, but let's start with Ken in London.
Hello, Ken.
Hallelujah.
Good morning, Phil and Ash.
All right, then.
At this time of the year, if you don't mind, I would like to talk about believing in Jesus. There is tremendous evidence given in the world around us to believe in God, to believe in Jesus. And if you'll allow me very briefly, I'd just like to explain to you tremendous evidence of God.
Okay, away you
Right.
go. Let's hear the
The
evidence.
first one is
Well,
creation.
I mean, I'm here, so some might say that's an act of God.
The first evidence of God is seen in creation. The heavens declare the glory of God. The existence of this universe and the amazing complexity of life on Earth is absolutely fantastic.
Was David Attenborough Life on Earth?
Was it?
And to say it just happened by accident is absolute folly. There has to be a designer. Second point of evidence I would like to present is the amazing information in DNA, the intelligent design of the human being. You know, the biological complexity of the human body, the brain, the heart, the cardiovascular system, our inner organs, our DNA, our digestive system, we can go on and on and on.
Could that not just be a very advanced being?
Don't mention digestive system though in front of on.
I mean, it is basically like a
good idea.
computerised process, DNA, the brain, how it works. Now we look, and so could it not just be a very advanced being that created us? In fact, that could be what God is.
Naz, the evolutionists, the atheists say it just happened by accident. What came first, the heart or the blood? If you're an evolutionist, tell me what came first, the heart or
Couldn't
the
it
blood?
be both?
The
God
blood-
invented
probably at the
evolution
same
as a little
time, isn't it?
tweaker.
Yeah.
He tweaks his own.
Evolution is nonsense. But anyway, this is evidence for people to believe in Jesus. That's the intelligent design and creation is fantastic, and anybody who denies it is a fool and
It's not very
Okay,
good evidence.
but
You're just saying it's so good. It's got to have
you
been
say that it's
Jesus.
true, but you're saying it's fact. But what you haven't presented us any evidence.
You've just said
I
it's
don't
so
understand
complex.
it.
It must have been
I'm
Jesus.
presenting you the evidence seen in the design in the human body.
But that doesn't mean Jesus did it, does
That
it?
could be science.
It could be another great being that did it, called something else, called Terry.
A scientific statement is this: design demands a designer. You cannot have design without a designer. It's scientifically impossible. Now, the third point, before I know there's not much time, our conscience. You know, our conscience is amazing. We have got a God-given inborn ability to know right from wrong. And let me tell you that the conscience cannot evolve from dead matter or dead chemicals. Where did the conscience evolve from? It's put in us by God, and our conscience points out to everybody there is an amazing moral presence.
We can create it in AI now. We can create a conscience.
Go on, Ash. There is an amazing moral presence in the universe, gentlemen, listeners. God exists. Another thing, that wonderful evidence. We don't walk by blind faith, Christians. We walk by evidence. The evidence in Bible prophecy is tremendous.
Right.
Well, it's true. Everything has come to pass that it says.
There's 1,817 prophecies in the Bible. Amazing evidence.
You're not going to list all of them, are you?
Yeah, And over 2/3 of them have been literally fulfilled. Jesus fulfilled over 300 in his birth, his life, his death, his resurrection. He fulfilled them to prove he is the Messiah. But you don't believe in the Messiah.
Well, I mean, we had Paul Daniels in our day. If he would have existed in biblical times, people might have thought Paul Daniels was Jesus.
He pulled a rabbit out of a hat. That was impressive.
It was brilliant how he did that and chopped the wood. Anyway, thanks, Ken, for that enlightenment. Heather in Girvan.
Hello, Ash, and hello, Phil.
You're a bit sprightly for this time of the morning, aren't you?
Yeah, man.
Oh, it's nice to see
Happy
you.
Merry Christmas. Are you looking forward to Christmas?
We need to celebrate both Hanukkah and Christmas together.
Why?
Because
Christmas time.
I want to celebrate Christmas.
The Jewish, when we need to keep the lights on. That's what Hanukkah is all about.
Yes,
bringing
right.
It's quite bright in here, so
light and
right.
bringing love to our world. This is what Jewish people are. Our Jewish friends like you. We need to spread the word of love together and bring joy to our world, because that's how we stop all this hatred in the world, by having joy and love.
Do you know what, Heather? It's even simpler than that. Heather, it's even simpler than that. Do you know how we stop all the hate? Is just appreciate that everyone has a right to exist in peace and harmony. It's called tolerance. It's amazing. We should try it.
You can't tolerate the intolerant.
No.
Yes, shalom, my friends. I love you both.
Well, shalom translates to several meanings.
Have you got us presents? That's what it's all about. Christmas is commercial. Forget all the spiritual stuff. It's about pounds, shillings and pence.
And actually, she wants to celebrate Hanukkah. With Hanukkah, you're supposed to do 8 presents, aren't you? It's one for every night of the week.
What are you doing Christmas Day, Heather?
Well, we need to celebrate both of them together with love, with peace, with respect.
Yeah, but what are you having? Who are you going to see on Christmas?
That's what Christmas is all about.
Yeah, but what are you having for dinner and who are you seeing?
That and getting drunk, but
and bringing love and compassion.
Yeah, can we have more details? Less of these, platitudes. Who are you having dinner with, or what are you going to eat for dinner?
I'm having a chicken pizza for my Christmas dinner.
Pizza? Good God.
Are you doing it with your mum and dad or your brothers? Yeah, you'll get a column in the mail.
I was going to say, you've got to be careful. You'll be on the front pages if you're not careful.
Are you doing it on your own? You're eating chicken pizza on your own?
Yeah, with a glass of wine. I might have a glass of... I've got a bottle of sparkling wine in my
Port.
fridge.
I like a bit of port. I mean, do you make the pizza yourself?
No, I'm going to go for one of these Asda create your own pizzas for my...
What's that? See, other ones are... So you get the base and then you add your own bits and pieces?
Yeah,
That's amazing how pizza technology's come along.
You create your own pizza in Asda, and then you pay for it, and then you bring it home, and then you cook it on Christmas.
Yeah,
because you create the pizza, does that mean that they pay you? Because technically you're working to create the pizza, aren't
I suppose it's like flat pack furniture. It saves on the costs.
Yeah. So you have to assemble a pizza.
You have to assemble it yourself.
Yeah. You get the staff to assemble the pizza, and
they don't do that in the flat pack stores.
And then you take it to the till and you pay for it.
Yeah, we know that bit. But I mean, so what time do you have it? About 3 o'clock, and then you just drink yourself silly and watch the King's speech.
I'm gonna have some Christmas pudding. I might have a bit of brandy. Might have a bit of whiskey. Plus, I need to enjoy Christmas and spread the word of love to you lot with love and care and happiness. We need to have a jolly good Christmas.
I can't think of a better way to end it. Heather, thank you so much, and have a merry Christmas. By the sound of it, you're going to have a very merry Christmas.
She already sounded like she started,
having a merry Christmas, aren't you? Yeah.
Bob, Hertfordshire Bob.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, you guys. Ash, I spoke to you many times, but
I know.
It's a pleasure to speak to Phil. He's my hero.
Is he?
Ah. I am thinking exactly the same, Robert. I'm also my hero. What can we do for you? No, I'm joking. Seriously, no, it's a real treat for me. Honestly, I feel like a complete fraud being here and sat in Andre's seat. Well, actually, I'm sat in you're sat in Andre's seat, aren't you? I'm sat in your seat.
He's got a very warm bottom.
Has he? Gracious.
Well, these people can get a word in, can't they? Because he's not here, you know.
Don't be horrible.
Yeah, that's true.
What I was going to say to you, I started to write a list down of all the things that this government have imposed that wasn't on their manifesto.
Yeah.
It got
a very long list.
I've run out of ball. The thing is, you know, they didn't have a manifesto, and the list is getting endless. Look, it's Fabian society Marxism. That's what it is. You know,
the wolf in sheep's clothing. It was a 100-year plan, you know. It was started in 1884, and they thought it would be 100 years, and that's why George Orwell called his book 1984, because it was based on the predictions of the Fabian site. It's taken them a bit longer, but it seems they're now in control.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're in control. And the thing is, it's not, you think of all the different things that they're imposing. On a humorous note, the only thing that Starmer, they're trying to take us back in the EU through the back door.
No, you say back door. I don't think they're even subtle about
in the front, aren't
they're not even subtle. They couldn't make it more obvious. We voted to get out of the European Union and all that comes with it, and they're just overturning it.
Well, they are. I mean, he's taken us through the back door. From what I hear about him, he's a bit of a backdoor expert. But
now steady. Yeah, that we've got to be careful with that.
But always got to be careful.
Well, we always got to be careful. Yeah. But Robert, can I ask, because I don't know about you, but I personally find what's going on with supposed democracy in this country absolutely terrifying. I actually hate the fact that we've got a group of leaders who seem so at ease to overturn all that is democratic about our country. You know, mentioned earlier on about Lammy coming along and wiping away juries from potential sentences of
800 years we've had that.
Yep, juries have been a firm fixture of justice for goodness only knows how long, like 800 years you're saying, and then some. And then also we're talking now about the postponement of local elections because it seems that they're running scared. That's
imprisonment
the
of political opponents.
All of this stuff, it's terrifying.
They're a good opposition party. That's all they can do. They're a good opposition party, but it's like they've got the keys to the sweet shop and they don't know what to do with it. You know, it's as simple as that. None of these people in the cabinet have been businessmen. None of them. It's like sixth form colleges.
It is. They're like student ideologues, aren't they? It's pathetic. I mean, the quality of our MPs. I mean, with now, he said intifada and all that is now the context. They say, Sir Mark, what's his name, Rowell. He says the context hasn't changed. You've just realised it was ridiculous in the first place. By the way, Phil, thanks, Robert. It's Blofeld. You look like Donald Pleasant.
Oh yeah.
And also Mini. You know what's his name?
Austin Powers, the Mini Me. Yeah.
Well, the older. Well, no, Mini Me really. Yeah. 0344.
Am I the same height?
Yeah. Nearly. Oh. Yeah, we take a little break here. It's me and Phil, 0344 499 1000.
It's you and Blofeld, isn't it?
It's Blofeld. It's me and Blofeld, and we'll be back in a minute or two.
across the UK. On DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
This is Talk at Christmas.
It's Talk. It's Christmas. Happy Christmas.
It's the phone. It's the phone in.
Winter. We got to call it Winterville for equal.
Oh, sorry, we've got a seasonal.
Merry Winterville.
Yeah, it's Ash Gould and Blofeld here apparently with you until 1 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
So we're taking your calls.
He's Donald Unpleasant.
Oh.
No, you are. He's very pleasant.
I was having
he's
a
more
good show
pleasant
until then.
Yeah, so let's go to Danielle in Colorado. Danielle, former San Francisco firefighter, but English, British, and she moved there and, she had to leave San Francisco. And
we don't have to do the call now. You're telling us her history.
Yeah, is that everything covered, Danielle?
Hi, Danielle.
And I'm hello, Phil.
Half Italian, aren't you?
I'm half Italian.
I remember that.
Yeah. That's the other weird thing. Yeah. I just want to throw this out there.
Yeah.
The gentleman that just called a second ago that just said that Phil is amazing. Phil is flipping amazing. I love you.
Oh,
I think you're brilliant. We need more of you on this show.
He's better without hair, apparently.
Yeah, it's true. My hair wasn't great. Yeah, it wasn't good.
But you know what? I'm so aligned with you politically. I just nod every time everything you say. I'm on the same board, and I just love the two of you together.
Danielle, you've got to be really careful.
Get a room
because my head's got to be able to fit through the door afterwards. So I'm really grateful, but honestly, it's making me go bright red. But
yeah, man, yeah.
So, no, you know what I would love? I would love for you to interview Douglas Murray.
Gracious me.
As what?
Interview Douglas Murray.
They're going to pretend I'll be Douglas Murray.
So, Douglas, when did you first realise that the world had gone bonkers?
It's a great pleasure to be here, Phil.
I didn't ask you that.
So
that's not going to go. That's already not going to go very well.
West
it's because he didn't answer the question I asked him.
Paul McCartney.
Paul McCartney. You like Paul McCartney?
Anyway, what do you want to talk about, Danielle? Do you just want to say how great Phil was?
Yeah, I was going to say, unfortunately, no one thought to put any notes here, so we don't even know what you've called about. But what do you want? What do you want to talk about?
Well, actually, I'm going to do something really naughty.
Oh.
I'm going to throw Cindy under the bus.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Well, we've got her. We'll get her up in a bit. Maybe we'll get her
Hang
up.
on, should we get Cindy?
We'll get her lined up, but before she gets on.
Yeah, Cindy's got to have the right to reply.
What do you want to say about Cindy?
Well, let me tell you why. Yesterday she called in and she was speaking to your brother, who is also fabulous, but she was speaking to him and she was so flirty with him. I was like, wow. And she told him that he is the better looking brother. So
can we have a bit of love for Ash?
Well, get her up immediately. Get Cindy up immediately. We can't. She thought I wouldn't find out. She's coming through. Well, it's ridiculous.
It's a
I know.
Hang on a sec. So, what did you want to say then about you? So, because you wanted to pull Cindy up.
Yeah,
on this.
Put Cindy on, man. What's this we're hearing about you saying?
Hi,
what's going on, Cindy?
Hey, gentlemen. Nice to see you.
I'm trying to answer the question. Did you hear what Danielle said?
Say hi to Danielle as well, because she
told me you said my brother was...
Danielle.
What did you say about my brother and me yesterday? Because Danielle's told us.
Danielle, did you blow my secret?
I threw you under the bus without blinking an eye. Absolutely.
I was saying last night, I was saying a little secret, and I said that your brother was the most handsome of you two.
Were you drunk?
Yep.
Were you drunk?
No.
I was offended.
Danielle was very offended by that, yeah.
Cindy, you've upset Danielle.
You've upset everyone.
Oh, no.
You've upset Ash.
Everyone's
upset. Danielle. That's the last thing I'd want to do is upset you. She's a firefighter. She's tough. She'll kick my butt.
Yeah, wow.
Oh, quite, yeah.
So do you know each other? Because you're both in America. Do you ever meet down the marketplace?
Stop smoking, then. Do what?
I think she lives somewhere quite far away from me.
Michigan and Colorado. What is that, about an hour or something?
No, it's a bus ride.
I was born and raised, 37 years
in
San Diego, California.
Oh, well, yes.
I was born and raised in San Diego.
Well, no, hang on a sec. We've got Chuck's asking who's the better looking brother.
Well, they've already both
we've got one
decided
vote each, haven't we? Because one's for you, one's for Johnny. So there you go.
Well,
yeah.
You know what? I think Johnny Gould is excellent, but Ash, you make me giggle. I can't tell you how many times I'll be in my kitchen just like.
Well, I'm trying to be quite a serious, hard-hitting journalist.
But you hide it so well.
It's humour I miss.
Yeah. So anyway, so you both known each other on the radio. You've never spoken to each other. I mean,
this is nice. This is a beautiful meeting.
Are you going to move back here, Danielle, or are you going to stay in the States?
No. Eventually, I have to split my time because my pension is based here. But I've got to get home because my son's there, and my grandbaby, and my new grandbaby coming up, and the rest of my family's there. So
in the southeast here. You mean in England?
Yeah, well, my son lives in Richmond, and my mum's
nice,
in Wiltshire.
yeah.
My brother's down there.
Lovely.
Yeah.
You should come if he lives in Richmond. I wouldn't blame you for coming back.
Oh, no, I know. I mean, Richmond, I'm in love with it. But saying that, my son went to university in Manchester, and I fell in love with the North. I love the North.
Yeah, but it's not practical to live up there. You know, they haven't got all the services and the food and,
We're not based there for starters.
The sunlight, the rain.
We reached the North, but, the studios are in London. Be quite far.
True. But, I mean, just something about Northerners. I mean, I was lied to when I was growing up. Because everybody told me, it's grim up there. Don't go up there. It's like a Lowry thing.
Well, that is true.
I'm really sorry. Hold the front page, Danielle. We might have the tiebreaker decider here. Because there's a message that's just come through from Sam. Sam has messaged to say Ash is gorgeous. So there you go.
I just said that.
I think that Ash has just won. Sorry, Cindy. There you go.
See, a man with a sense of humour will always win. We love that. There you go.
Anyway, Cindy, what did you want to talk about? We've leave Danielle on, we'll leave them all on, yeah.
Should we go? We can go early.
Yeah, you chat to each other. What do you want to talk about, though, Cindy?
Sultana.
Yeah, we'll chill out, man.
Laura Sultana, the Woman of the Year, who thinks she's so important that she can get somebody out of prison. My idea.
Well, I mean, it's the problem is, Cindy, it's who she wants to get out of prison. I think we should be quite worried about personally, but yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Suppose we want to be grateful Labour didn't release them.
Yeah, man.
Cindy, I think we can beat that. I think Ilhan Omar is the worst. The worst.
Oh, God, yes. Yes.
This is the Somalian. They've basically been a massive fraud in Minnesota, hasn't there?
Yep.
Yes,
I'm shocked she's allowed to be in politics. I'm shocked. It's really worrying.
Well, she's going to get kicked out because apparently she married her brother to get citizenship, or the other way around, or something like that.
Good Lord.
Lovely.
Gracious me. Yeah. Well, there you go. I mean, that
so they're going to denaturalise a load of them, and rightfully so. You know, just because you got citizenship doesn't mean you've got it for life. People think they have the rights.
Let me tell you something, Ash, real quick. So my partner is a retired colonel and F-16 fighter pilot, and he served 35 years, and he's actually very close friends with Dan Kane, who is who's been appointed by Trump. And Dan is very middle of the road and a really nice guy. I've met him a couple of times. And Trump can, he can do some stupid things. He can say some stupid things. But he does surround himself with some very good quality people, much better than the last administration, which were consistently appalling. I mean, I'll just say Sam Brinton, who is a transvestite luggage thief. He was in office with the Biden administration. So at least we have better quality people in now, even though I may not agree with all of them. So I do have a little
just straight
here and there
luggage thieves, just
on.
your normal luggage thieves. That's what you want.
No.
Oh my goodness me, what have you two started, for goodness sake? Samantha in Lancashire. Hi, Phil and Ash. If I was single, Ash, you'd win hands down.
Samantha in Lancashire, yeah.
Gracious me.
Well, thanks there, Sam. Anyway, look, thanks, Danielle and Cindy. That was brilliant.
Great.
Reaching across the ocean. Fantastic, wasn't it? Let's go to...
we can't go to anyone. We've got to line up another call.
We're just getting someone who will just fill for a bit.
So how about we read some messages? Shall we?
Yeah, good idea. Yeah, let's do that, yeah.
So, I mean, I say read some messages, but anyway. But Benjamin has messaged in to say, I'm making my own Thai green chicken curry for Christmas dinner with fresh naan, basmati rice, and homemade yogurt and mint coriander dip. That's from Benjamin in
With a rice...
That's because, and by the way, feel free to text us with what you're doing for Christmas dinner. You can either WhatsApp us on 0344 499 1000, or you can text the word talk, followed by your message to 87222. But this is because that before we were speaking to Sophie, who's on the front page of the Daily Mail for Friday, because she was saying that apparently she's outraged millions of people by telling them that she's going to have some sort of Tesco chicken tikka masala or something like that as Christmas dinner, rather than actually conventional.
And
Christmas
Ernie
dinner.
says it's a tikka masala. It was developed in Glasgow, so why can't it be Christmas dinner? That's not true. Maybe deep fried Christmas chicken tikka masala. John in West Lothian, what are you having for Christmas dinner in West Lothian?
Well, we were just having a traditional Christmas lunch.
What's that? Deep fried Mars bar.
Oh, God. Don't be racist.
Racist, they're terrible. No, you're just going to have the normal, because you're more traditional. What, you're having the turkey and all the trimmings and everything?
Yes, because when you're old, you do these sort of things, you know.
Well, it's nice, isn't it? It's traditional, man. It's nice to have your traditional.
It's British.
Keeps it real.
Oh, for goodness sake. There's another message come through here. Sarah. Ash is definitely the better looking one, and I'm definitely your number one fan.
These are sober people. John, what do you want to say then?
Yeah, well, I just want to talk about these this training for school lectures for boys and things.
Yes, the misogyny lessons,
It's absolutely ridiculous.
How to be a misogynist.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous the way it's being proposed. The only way that these things actually work is if you've got the same, different opinions in the same room at the same time, and you explain each other. It's all about respect. It's all about understanding the other side. And this government, the way that they're going about it with the pubic blotter, blockers and all the rest of it, is all about. It's almost like living in North Korea.
I mean, John, to be fair, we shouldn't conflate the two, because obviously puberty blockers are not being used to treat anyone who might have misogynistic tendencies. But, I know what you mean. You're talking about sort of the way that we're constantly interfering with our young people's lives, by offering potentially puberty blockers, and also those who sort of maybe...
She'll say we give puberty blockers to misogynists, John.
Yeah, but, we're talking about your young kids here. We're talking about people that are still developing, that still have to understand. And this government wants to control everything that we do.
But the thing is, you don't have to be a scientist. Like, us as laymen know that blocking puberty causes long-term problems. Because, of course, as George Orwell says, it takes an intellectual to be that stupid. So when you're at the top of your game in the science, you go, oh, the silly little people. Of course we can turn a man into a woman and a woman into a man. It's very... And obviously we know without any science. I mean, I've got O-level biology, and yeah, that's right, I've got onology. But even without that, it's ridiculous.
I've got nothing.
Have you not?
Oh, no, I left school at 15. I think that explains a lot.
Yeah.
But John, in all seriousness, I tell you that what really bothers me is that it's not just about the way that we are interfering in young people's lives. We're actually interfering in their lives at their most vulnerable and influential
and it's
age.
Irreversible.
And it's stuff that's going to scar
permanently
them for life.
Sterilised.
This is actually sort of tantamount to child abuse, I think.
I think in years to come that's what it will be seen. Well, it is now by some people.
When I phoned in to Kevin some days ago, it's institutional child abuse. This is unbelievable what they're trying to do. Kids need to grow up. They need to develop. And 11, 12, 8, whatever age group they're talking about at the moment, they haven't got the ability to decide what they want to do.
And a lot of them is overrepresented with people with autism and things like that to suggest that it's not really, it's not really a right decision.
Yeah, I think it's just totally wrong, and I'm sorry to go back to a subject like this when you've had some people on who are...
Yeah, it was all getting a bit light-hearted, and then you've brought it back.
Light-hearted than I am, but I just think it's so serious. I've got
absolutely
and all the rest of it, and I worry about what the future holds for them.
Have you got kids yourself, have you?
Yeah, I've got a daughter, and
how old is she?
Well, no, she's in her 40s, but
I've got grandkids.
You've got grandchildren, though.
I've got granddaughter who the oldest is 24, and is going to go travelling and wants.
What does she think about all this? Sort of.
No, they're horrified with what's going on. They want to grow up and develop and get their own perception on life and learn and take.
That's good that she's a kid and she knows it's a load of bunkum. So that is a positive note, really, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you know, and I also, you know, I mean, I go and write it down to the local primary school here in Scotland, and you know, the teachers there are absolutely brilliant because there is respect on both sides. I heard you talking earlier about, you know, people giving teachers a hug and all the rest of it. I think it's absolutely wonderful the way in which they relate to each other now, and you know, they're not frightened about it. You know, it's genuine. And people have to be allowed to develop and build respect. And I think the one thing that society is missing at the moment is respect for each other, for different religions, for almost different ways of life. People can be what they want when they've got the ability to make those decisions.
Yeah, but I was going to say, but that's the problem. That's not what's being taught. If anything, they're actually being taught inadvertently to hate people who don't agree with a certain philosophy, and that's what's terrifying. This is basically sort of almost some sort of inverted dictatorship. You know, they're being taught how to think, what to think, and
that's
if
what
you
communists do, isn't it? They take the kids off you.
Way, you are wrong.
That's why they like
terrible.
to take the kids off the parents. That's like, you know, what they did in Cambodia and all that, isn't it? Yeah, that's the communist belief.
But could you imagine though, seriously, like how different sort of like our potential like paths could have been in life if we weren't allowed free thinking the way that would have done in the sort of the eras that we would have grown up.
Well, that's what's happening, isn't it? Anyway, thanks, John. It's talk. It's me and Phil because Andre's sick. He should be back tomorrow. Chateries Paribus 0344. That's Latin for all things remaining equal.
Oh, I see.
0344 499 1000. You can drop a voice note if you're scared to come on, but give us a ring if you want to get on. We're going to talk to Janice, Roy, Grace, Delroy.
It's all next. Enjoy. Yeah, we'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
0344 499 1000. Give us a ring. You just put those digits in, as they said. But let's go to Janice, Wakey.
She's been very patiently waiting. Hi, Janice.
Hello there. I'm just calling because I've been reading or seeing that our esteemed leader, Mr. Starmer, is thinking about stopping the elections again, the local elections.
Yeah, well,
that's absolutely. You know, he's now offering certain local councils the opportunity to delay them if they want to.
Well,
that doesn't sound very democratic.
I couldn't vote last year, and I'm thinking, I thought we had democracy in this country.
No, they don't want that. I mean, he wants an authoritarian system. He wants to get rid of juries.
We're not democratic anymore. We ought to be informed. We're not democratic anymore because this is absolutely ridiculous. I haven't got if he comes to my election again, well, I don't know what I'll do. Because I want to have my say like everybody else.
Disenfranchised. I mean, it is a disgrace, and you know.
And it's against my human rights. And believe it or not, we are signed up to the human rights.
That's all we ever hear about is ECHR, isn't it? And
Isn't Farage going to challenge this in court with these cancellations?
Well, I don't know, but I can't. But I just think, well, they made all that human rights for all the people coming over on the boats and everything, and everybody else that's coming into the country, and yet people like the ordinary man in the street, as it were, can't get a vote.
It feels really sort of, I think, quite unnerving, Janice. I don't know about you, but I mean, that's sort of, I used the word scary before because it kind of is, but actually unnerving as well, because it just feels. It feels as if that everything that I've grown up believing about democracy and this great country of ours is just being taken away from us against our will.
Well, it is. It's not a feeling. That's what's happening.
We've looked away for 2 minutes, and all of a sudden the whole world's gone upside down. What we've grown up with and expected all our lives, and now suddenly we can't. I mean, I'm not saying mine have been cancelled this year. They may not have been. But if they are cancelled again this year, that's really, really wrong.
Well, we know why they're doing it. They're not doing it for the reasons they're actually saying. They're doing it because they realise that they won't do very well in them.
Well, they won't do very well.
It's very simple.
I hope they don't do very well, actually. I hope they want to go into oblivion, as far as I'm concerned, because they're absolutely, and I won't say what I was going to say, but they're absolutely...
Yeah, steady. I was going to say, but they're not actually giving us the chance to send them into oblivion. That's the problem.
Well, the thing is, in the poll tax, you remember the poll tax rights and all that. That was just a little poll tax thing. This is much more serious, and yet we just do nothing. Just sit there and go, take it.
I mean, Putin has been in power now 20 years or more.
Yeah, he's won every election, just like Starmer.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Maybe Starmer's taken a leaf out of his book. I mean, he did spend some time in the 80s in Czechoslovakia at a secret communist day camp.
Well, I think we've got one. I think we've got one in our country now, don't you? Who wants to do the same thing?
Well, it certainly feels like we do.
It's not right. We should be able to vote. It's wrong.
Well, of course it is,
It's wrong at every level, because if you can't say what you want, well, then you can't say what you want anyway.
Well, you get put in prison now if you're on the wrong side. If you're on the other side, you're all right. Yeah.
You can't. I put little bits on Facebook, and I think, well, I read it back to make sure I haven't got...
People are self-censoring, aren't they? Yeah.
Well, you've got to be careful, Janice. You can't use any hurty words.
You'll get the Stormzy round your house.
Yeah.
I know. I don't want that.
Oh, anyway, thanks, Janice. Roy in Hampshire. Roy.
Good evening, lads.
All right, man.
How are you, mate? All right?
We're all right, man. How are you, Roy?
Oh, not so bad, mate. I'm worrying about what's happening to our poor old country, mate.
Yeah,
not surprised.
Good old Yiddish boys like you can't walk down the street, mate. You're terrified.
Not with our hats on.
No, well, in the paper today, mate, in the Express, the Muslims have taken over the prison at the Isle of Sheppey.
Have they?
Really,
well, I know there's gangs, isn't there, that you have to join if you want to, get around, and the guards have lost control.
Yeah, but I was watching GB News a few weeks ago, mate.
Never heard of it.
Guy on there, I think he worked for one, I don't know if it's a Telegraph or the Express, and he said that the government have hired 200 prison officers from Ghana.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah. Well, maybe they'll be good. I mean,
speak English, mate. No wonder they're being allowed to walk out of prison if you've got people like that.
Roy, what do you think the answer to all of this is? I mean, we can all sit here and lament and get really upset about what's happened to our once great country, but what do you think the answer is? And I know that everyone just says it will vote Labour out, but realistically, what is the answer?
I think they should have a military takeover, mate.
Wow.
A military coup?
Military takeover, eh?
Well, I do, mate, because we're being governed by a communist. They're a load of communists. They're traitors to this country. Look what they've done to the Chagos Islands, mate. He's selling us out. He's trying to get us back into Europe now.
Yeah.
That's going to cost us, £7 or £8 billion.
What I can't get my head around is it just feels as though every single decision that our wonderful government is taking just feels so anti-British, and it's almost as if...
They're the enemy of Britain.
It's almost as if to heck with the British people. I want to say something else, but I won't.
Well, he said he put Davos ahead. He put Davos ahead.
Yeah, no, he said he'd much rather be in Davos. Yeah, but the point being is that it just feels as though that it doesn't matter what British people want. It's almost like we come low down the pecking chain.
Well, I remember
it's very strange.
When I was doing the show, 25 years ago, we used to get callers. There was Tim in Liverpool, and he used to go on about, we're heading towards a one world order. It was all conspiracy theories, and actually, turns out it was all true. We are heading
Sorry
into
about
a
that,
sort
Tim.
of
Yeah,
one
you're
world
right.
order. ID, everything's being replicated around the world. ID cards, people taking immigration, open borders, putting them
High
in
streets.
hotels.
They're all the same.
Everything, the economies, everything is worldwide and all linked up. And we know where it's coming from. It's coming from these supranational bodies that mean Starmer can go, oh, I can't do anything about it democratically. It's international law. Anyway, 0344 499 1000. We've got Grace and Delroy, and you give us a ring too, and we'll get you on. It's Talk with Phil and Ash.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
We seem to be hurtling towards the moment where Paul Ross will grace you with his presence on air. So unfortunately, this means it's the last part.
On the telly, though, it could be anything to keep watching on the telly. Right, we've got a few here. What is it with this fake snowfall? That's a real window outside, by the way. That's not fake. Hi, Ash and Phil. I almost didn't recognise Phil without a hat. Nice-looking head. You've got a very nice round head, hasn't he? No Christmas meal for me here in Tel Aviv. Far too many sufganiyot. What's that? Is that like a Hamantaschen? Anyway, nice to see you, Phil. Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah.
Oh, thank you, sir. Likewise, now.
Yeah, not everyone wants roast curry. Sounds delicious. A lot of people opting for a curry on Christmas. I don't know why.
I'm sorry.
It's not. I mean, curry is always good, but I mean...
no. I don't actually like curry. I like naan bread. I'm not really
Do you not?
curry.
Do you have funny turns with it,
well,
like the spiciness?
I don't really do spicy very well. That's for starters.
Do you eat horseradish, mustard, any British
but hang on a
spicy
second.
stuff?
Hang on a second, because you see, I beg to differ with this, because to me, I think there's a difference between
Racist,
chili
you
spice.
see. He doesn't mind hot stuff if it's British, yeah.
Be careful with that. I mean, I think there's a difference between chili spice and sort of like almost what I'd describe as tangy spice. You know, the like mustard, the one that goes up your nose, that kind of thing.
Umami.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Wasabi.
Yeah, wasabi, yeah.
That's it.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
a
that's like mustard,
that.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Wasabi and mustard. It's
and
just
horseradish, it's all the same kind of thing, isn't
it's
it?
Different. It goes into your nose, doesn't it? Yeah.
So rather than actually burning your mouth off, it just clears the airways.
Yeah,
and
you're
that's
right,
why I
it's
don't mind that.
It's a different burning, isn't it?
Yes.
Interesting.
Fascinating. Hi, Grace.
Grace.
Hi. I've never eaten any of these things because I'm incredibly boring, but umami is the name for a particular flavour.
Yeah, it makes you sound sophisticated. It makes you sound sophisticated, doesn't it, when you just chuck it in a conversation? Umami,
I mean, in contrast to something being sweet or sour, umami is its own particular
It's like
flavour.
no one knows what it is. You
Whereas
just say umami and everyone thinks you're clever.
Whereas wasabi is an
I thought you were saying a spell.
So wasabi's not umami, is it?
No, they're different things.
What's umami then?
Well, like I said, umami is the name for a flavour.
Yeah, but what is it, like soy sauce? Isn't that an umami?
Soy sauce is an example of something with an umami flavour.
What is it then? What's the umami bit of it?
Well, I can't really define it.
See, no one knows. It's that sophisticated. No one really knows
Well, I'd say
what
it's
it
like
is,
an
but-
additional flavour, isn't it?
Yeah, but no one knows what it is, but you say it and you sound clever.
But isn't it more of a description than an actual flavour?
No, well, no one really knows.
I have such a boring diet, so I'm not very.
What do you have for Christmas, Grace?
I will have turkey, but people should eat what they feel like eating at Christmas and not be too hung up on it, as much as I'm a pedantic person myself.
No, you should eat the turkey, shouldn't you? Because it's traditional.
Well,
Why
say,
is it
if you say
traditional?
you're a boring eater,
no-
Grace, then actually turkey's perfect, isn't it?
I appreciate the turkey. But if people want to have a curry or whatever, then they should do that. There was no turkey in the animal shelter where Jesus was born. And later on in his life...
What would Jesus have had for Christmas dinner?
No, a donkey would he?
He would have had a
terrible.
Hanukkah dinner. He would have had Hanukkah, wouldn't he? He would have had...
Well, one of the things that's significant about Jesus is that at his time, there were really religiously minded people who were really, really stringent about very particular rules and customs. And Jesus kept saying to them, guys, you missed the point, basically. They were kind of doing lots of things that weren't actually essential. And he was saying what's really important is to turn your heart to God, not to follow a bunch
But wasn't he
of
just
rules.
saying that? Because I've got mates who, started eating Big Macs and stuff. Oh, it's all right because wasn't it just because he wanted to eat? He liked the look of shellfish. He liked a bit of a burger, maybe a bit of bacon. Wasn't that the reason he did it?
What do you mean?
Well, why? Because he got rid of all the kosher rules, didn't he? He said, "Oh, well, you don't need to be kosher." Wasn't he just being so he could go out and have a bit of what he fancied?
I mean, don't get me wrong, it caught on,
You know
but
what
he
I
was a
mean?
bit rebellious, really, by the sound of it, wasn't he?
Jesus did suffer for his not being in line with the rules that were around at the time. So I don't think he was just being...
Yeah, but I mean, you say he suffered, but he knew he was. If he was the son of God, he's not going to really suffer, is he?
Oh, he did suffer. He suffered beyond what we can fathom because all of our badness was placed upon him. Yeah. He had our sin placed upon him, so he kind of suffered in a metaphysical as well as the physical sense. But I wanted to commend some of the things that Ken was saying earlier.
Really?
I think there was, I think there's a bit of confusion because at one point...
Because you and Ken are rivals, Christian rivals.
No.
I'll be honest, Grace, I was a bit confused by some of the things Ken was saying.
What was confusing to you?
Primarily is that he didn't seem to understand that science could play a part in evolution.
Right. So I heard you mention that, and science is not in any way at odds with believing in God. If you were to study a painting in detail, then you might better understand exactly where all the brushstrokes are and the cultural significance of it, but that wouldn't change the fact that someone painted it. And in the same way, with science, we better understand the details of what God has made, but that doesn't eradicate God having put it in place.
Well, exactly. That's what I say to Ken, but he won't accept. I said, well, if there is a designer, maybe there is. You can see the design of things is amazing, and you mean, but actually, the designer could have invented evolution to amazingly improve his design as it went on.
Yeah, I mean, when I was studying science, that was when I began to really feel like I might actually believe in God for the first time, because prior to that, though I'd been taken to church, and I liked it, it's a nice, friendly environment with good teachings, I didn't really feel like I believed in God because I'm not an instinctively spiritual person. But when I was looking in detail at how processes within cells are not just complex, they're interdependent. So one molecule has a particular role, but it can only do what it's doing if another molecule is in the right place in the cell. So things couldn't really have just gradually evolved by chance alone. They could have evolved with God directing them, but they couldn't have evolved by chance alone because of the interdependence as well as the complexity.
I agree.
And there are things about physics that give odds against the universe existing.
But could it have been made by a very advanced being, like the equivalent of us compared to our brains to, like, you know, a moth? Someone, a being with that sort of intelligence could have just made us. I mean, you look at our DNA and the way our brain works, we're like technology, aren't we? Very advanced organic technology.
Couldn't be a moth in the studio.
What God is the designer who put us in place. I mean, there's a book about DNA called The Language of God, and it was written by someone who worked on the Human Genome Project, who was in charge of the Human Genome Project. So there are lots of scientists who look at science and they think, well, God set it in place to begin with.
Well, are we the God of AI? Are we making a conscious machine that will then, we will invent a conscious, and that will take over, and then that will invent an organic one like us, and it's sort of layers and levels like this?
I mean, what AI is doing, it's just copying and pasting bits of things that humans have already done.
No, but it's thinking for itself now.
It's hard. We can't say that it's got consciousness, although some people like to think that it might do. Have you tried playing around with it? It does some flipping weird things.
Yeah, but the AI
true,
we're
but then
seeing
again,
now,
to be fair, humans do some flipping weird things as well.
The AI we're seeing, what we get, is like 3 years old. The AI that's actually being developed is far more advanced. Like, you know, Hal, Dave, I know what you're thinking, Dave. It's like that.
By the way, Grace, I think we need to thank Neil in Belfast. He's saved us here. He says umami means an enhanced flavour.
Which means nothing, does it? I mean, what does that even mean? But you say it and you sound clever.
But anyway, well, there you go. But thank you for that, Neil. I just thought, you know, Grace, obviously, you know, clearly religion means a lot to you, and I respect you for that, by the way. And just for the record, my religion means a lot to me as well. I might not be the most practising Jewish person out there, but it means a lot to me all the same.
Don't need to practice. You're really good at it.
Oh, thank you. But I do want to, in all seriousness, ask, what does this time of year mean to you? Because obviously it is a very religious time.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
I mean, when I was a kid, I was really just excited by presents. And then I remember one Christmas just not feeling as, I don't know.
How old were you when you didn't like it anymore?
About 10. I mean, that was long after I'd learned that Father Christmas doesn't exist. I was suspicious about
it. No.
Sorry.
Father Christmas.
None of that.
Yeah, he was.
You might not believe in him.
It's not Jesus, is it, Father Christmas?
Well, I don't know.
No one really knows. Yeah.
I think you could be Father Christmas.
I could be, man.
The Santa hat looked good.
But as I've grown older still, I've come to sense a different kind of, I don't know, interesting feeling of wonderment, I suppose, in trying to contemplate how awesome it is that God came and that Jesus wanted to save humanity so much that he came from heaven to be amongst us and be brought. You know, he had all the glory of heaven.
Well, I'd want to, if I could come somewhere and have all the glory, I'd be down there like a shot.
That's why you're on this show.
That's why I'm on here. I like the glory of it.
No. He had the glory of heaven, and he came to an animal shelter. That's how much he loved us.
I've been to an animal. I went to the cat home in Kensal Rise, so I am more and more. I'm a bit like Jesus. Delroy Wright says I don't like turkey. Wasn't that the Happy Monday song?
I don't.
Not
like
Happy Monday. Boomtown Rats.
I
don't like. You can't beat rice peas with corn nuggets. Yes, you can. You can beat that.
You can beat an egg.
Christmas meal probably has more to do with the big feast as we have part of Yuletide, Adam in Canvey. Is it like a bit stolen from the pagans and the other, the tree and all that? And
differing I mean, with various things that come out of history and are traditional, historians have different ideas about how things originated, and it's hard to pin down where various things originated. I mean, ultimately, human beings have been celebrating at winter time throughout history because they want to cheer themselves up. So at some point people were celebrating pagan things, and then people decided that they would celebrate Jesus' birth at this time of year. It doesn't nullify the fact that Jesus did exist. There are differing views amongst historians about exactly when in the year he was born, but we might as well celebrate at this time of year, and it's a good time to think about something that's really awesome and exciting when it's cold and miserable outside.
What does Christmas look like in the Gould household? What are you going to do for Christmas?
Not much. Like, I mean, you know, it depends. I don't think I'm going anywhere. So I like the quietness of the day. I enjoy that. You know what I mean? When it's really quiet. What do you see family, Grace? Or
yeah. I mean, to my shame, I've not been able to move out. I just pay some rent to my dad and continue to live with my parents, which I'm very grateful for.
Can I be? Hang on. I'm going to correct you there. There is zero shame in that. Absolutely zero shame.
What
in still living at home. Zero shame.
It's a bit shameful.
Because I'm telling you, Asher, For goodness sake, no, seriously, because I'm telling you now, I am 39 and it took me to the age of 36 to be able to...
Well, I mean, in all seriousness...
Timothy Lumsden.
What's wrong with you?
No, that's quite good these days. Most people are still in their houses.
There's a shortage of homes, and my parents have got a lot that I can still learn about. You know, that they've got wisdom that I don't have, and I can help them with some things. And I think it works out quite well. But I'm very grateful to them for putting up with me.
And they do your washing and that, and all your
No,
dinners?
I can do that. But my sister...
I was the same. I got to a certain age where I just thought, this is ridiculous. I absolutely don't want my parents to do things like that anymore. To be fair, it was when I was 35, but at least I got there eventually. Yeah.
But yeah, there's a sister of mine who lives in Manchester will come and visit, and that'll be nice. And I don't know if we'll see
Is she
anyone else.
religious like you are? Is she, or are you the different?
That sister who lives in Manchester is also a Christian, but the sister who lives here, because I've got two sisters, the sister who lives here does not believe in God. So that's interesting. Sometimes.
How does that make you feel, actually? Because I'm
the wrath of
contrast with relatives who are not in the least bit religious, and I don't know how I feel about it, because I think we're the same religion, so why don't you think the same way?
I guess sometimes it makes me feel a bit sad in the sense that for me, turning to Jesus has given me a lot of joy that other things haven't done, and so I wish that more people experience that. But each person has a long and complicated life path, and I don't know what my sister might come to think in the future. It's ultimately her decision. Everyone needs to decide for themselves, and I really enjoy her company either way. So it's just, it's interesting to hear her different perspectives on things.
Yeah, I completely agree, totally and utterly. When I sort of think to myself that as much as it might confuse me as to why that sort of I might have the same genetic makeup to my family, but let's be honest, I mean, I don't think the same in a lot of respects, actually, but, you know, the fact that they don't necessarily have the same religious or religiosity, should I say, as I do, it often does make me wonder how it can be so different in families. But then again, having said that, I mean, like, you know, you and Johnny are quite different, aren't you? So.
Yeah. I mean, well, I suppose so. Yeah. But yeah, I'm like you. I sometimes think, why are you religious? Why are you not religious? Peter Hawkins says, I listen to talk radio until about 10 miles west of Folkestone and Dover when it stops transmitting. No other station cuts out. Only talk.